today? No, today it's what's happening in New Jersey right now. There's a shooting in New Jersey. All right, everybody. Hello.
Quicken Loans, our 17,000 team members know.
Yes, I've already had my account suspended by Twitter. Oh, God.
With some of the lowest refinancing rates ever. Rates are historically low.
I can't win. I can't win. Yeah, I should go back to law school just so I can sue everybody. Good God.
Is 3.99%. APR 4.18%. That's right, 3.99%. While we can't predict what will happen in the future, we do know that rates have dropped, and now is the time to save money on your mortgage. Call us today at 800-QUICKEN or go to rocketmortgage.com to learn how refinancing now may be the right mortgage solution.
No YouTube issues that I'm aware of. I seem to be safe on YouTube. So far, so good on YouTube. All right, here we go. Praying for Susie.
This is Casey Hendrickson on News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel, your breaking news and weather station.
Welcome to the program. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. That's what I forgot to do. I forgot to get the lights. I'll get the lights on the commercial break. Everything's fine right now, though, Jay. You don't have to worry about it. Unless you want to. This doesn't really matter. So anyway, a couple of things. One, we have some breaking news in New Jersey. We're going to get to that here in just a second. First, it is the 10th, and everything appears to be okay on YouTube. I don't appear to be a part of any purge that is happening on YouTube today. So YouTube seems to be okay. And you can watch the live stream at youtube.com/Casey the host. That's CASEY. Or you can go to twitch.tv/Casey the host. And again, inevitably, when YouTube blocks my videos, because they block 80% of them at least, the live streams go off without a hitch. And then what they don't allow is they don't allow the live streams that be posted as videos. That's what they don't do about 80% of the time. So just go over to Twitch, and then Twitch will have those videos for you, okay? Now, with that said, no problems on YouTube, but my brand new Twitter already suspended, Joe.
You know,
and hold on, before I let Joe respond to this, I actually told people when I went back on Twitter, which is a request of the company, because they're trying to get everybody verified. I went back on Twitter after being banned before for 3D printed gun posts. And I went back on Twitter, and I actually told some people, I'm not sure if I'm going to be nicer this time around. I'm going to try and maybe be a little bit more diplomatic, not fight with people, probably just do the whole blocking thing, which I typically didn't do. I would make at least one person a week a special project when they would start in on me, and then I wouldn't leave them alone, is what I would do. And then they would block me and then, report me and everything else, even though they started it. So I actually said that I was going to try and be nicer this time around, and I have. I have not yelled at one person.
You've done a really good job of being civil.
I have not yelled at one person on Twitter, even this crazy old lady who was being really, really annoying. I was even polite to her. At one point, I even said, and here I am trying to be really polite and nice to you. Okay? So I've tried to be nice. And what? Less than a week? Back on Twitter?
Yeah.
Less than a week. Already suspended.
Just about a week, yeah.
It's back up now. They didn't tell. I think what they're trying to say is they thought I was a bot. So that's kind of what they're going with. Suspicious activity on your account. I posted Twitter like 3 times a day.
You know what it was, Casey? You posted one thing that wasn't politically related, the deep sea thing, and they went, this isn't right.
The deep sea post. Let me, for those of you going, oh, bull crap. You're a conspiracy theorist, Casey. No, Twitter doesn't do this to anybody. It's all a myth and it's all a lie from you right-wingers. All right, let me tell you what I posted, okay, before I got suspended. Now, I want you all to understand something. I already had 2-factor authentication enabled on my account, which means I can't log into Twitter until they send me a text message with a code, all right? And I did this because to be verified, you have to have this enabled. And it's a way that they prove that you are who you are. All right, so here's where we are. Another day, another hate hoax. And I posted a link to the story about the guy who fabricated the swastikas, Heil Trump, and the derogatory anti-gay slurs in Indiana. Okay, I linked to that article. That was it. Then I retweeted Buck Sexton, okay, when he was talking about the FBI. I retweeted investigative reporter Paul Sperry when he was talking about how NBC, ABC, and CBS switched back to regular programming and stopped covering the impeachment hearings right as Republican committee members showed video evidence of Biden and his son's quid pro quo, okay? I retweeted Liz Wheeler, who's a journalist for OAN, who says basically the FBI didn't corroborate the Steele dossier claims, used the dossier as central reason to spy on Carter Page, misrepresented Page to seem like a Russian spy, made claims in FISA apps and docs that refuted those claims, and the Democrats are cool with this. That's all true and accurate, by the way. That was in the IG report. Then my auto tweet went out that I went live on my live stream from yesterday. I tweeted out that Pete Frates died. He's the ALS guy who inspired the Ice Bucket Challenge. I tweeted false and quoted Article 2, Section 4 of the Constitution when House Judiciary Committee members said the president can be impeached without actually committing any crimes, which, of course, you can't. And then I also, on December 7th, I had tweeted out that Devin Nunes was going to take legal action against Adam Schiff for accessing his phone records. That's all I did. And then right before that, I had the Deep Sea thing, the interactive thing that I posted on Facebook, which you all thought was really popular and cool, by the way. That Deep Sea thing is really neat. It's an interactive map where you scroll down into the depths of the ocean and see where various things are and what animals live there and all that stuff. Yes, Joe.
So I'm on your Twitter.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, you're only following 5 people. I'm like, but why am I one of the 5? Because you follow me.
Wait, I'm only following 5 people?
According to this, so
What?
I clicked on it, and it shows all the people that you're following, like, which is a lot more than 5. I'm not going to count them all because it looks to be about 50-ish.
Okay, but they tried saying the other day. They tried saying the other day that I was following like 90 people. I'm like, I didn't follow 90 people.
Now you're following 5 people.
Yeah, but it does show.
Yeah, when you click on it, it
When you
shows you're
click on it,
following a lot more.
it shows the full list.
Is your follower count right still?
I doubt it.
This
I don't
is at
know.
293.
My follower count, yeah, it says 293, but my follower count has never been accurate on Twitter.
That's fair.
So when I got to 25,000, they took away 7, and then I got back up to 20. They took away like another 5, and then at that point they wouldn't let me go beyond like 15,000. Every time I got to 15,000, they would take thousands of them away. Now, I don't pay for followers or any of that crap, so it's not one of those things where it's like they caught me paying for followers or anything. It's just they just snag them all away. And so I don't know what the deal is, ladies and gentlemen. They didn't flag any posts. They're just doing the whole Casey is a robot thing, and he's got suspicious activity, which doesn't make any sense because I have one auto tweet that goes out every day when the live stream starts. That's it, which tells you can go to YouTube or Twitch at Casey the host and follow me, or you can try the new Throne Live app, and then you can go ahead and watch Casey on the throne, which I think is a funny thing to say. But the Throne app is really neat. I dig the Throne app, and I talk about the Throne app all the time. But it's just, I don't know. I don't know what it is. With Twitch, they hate me so much, and I'm convinced that they are not going to verify my account, that they will verify everybody else in this building except for me. I am convinced that that's going to happen.
You know, that wouldn't surprise me.
No, it wouldn't surprise me. And here's the thing. The digital people that are going to do this, okay, they are not aligned with me politically. And even they're saying, this is going to be really interesting to see if they verify you or not. Because they should. And I meet all of the qualification to be verified. Everybody knows that. And as people have pointed out, Brooklyn Beatty's already verified. Okay, so it is what it is. Okay, it's social media, and they are not at all interested. Now there are other platforms out there. Gab, I think, is starting to come back on and be interesting. I'm on Parler as well. I'm on both of those at Casey the host. If you wanted to follow me there, I'm less active there, but and the thing is that I can be verified there, but I have to pay them. I'm sorry, that's extortion. No,
That's stupid.
no. Okay, you're either going to verify people that are worthy of being verified or you're not. You pick. Now, Facebook and Twitter and I think YouTube, to an extent, does it for free, but they just won't do it for certain people. I should join Prager in their lawsuit. Yeah, no, Prager's lawsuit is, I think, primarily against YouTube. So YouTube harasses me with copyright claims, but YouTube doesn't really censor me beyond that. So I don't really have a huge issue with YouTube. But I do know that a lot of people on YouTube who follow me don't get the notifications, and that's a part of YouTube deciding who is and is not worthy of getting notifications, and their policy is very weird on that. The other thing on YouTube is that a lot of people have been unsubscribed to my channel, and then when they come back, they go, yeah, I didn't get the notifications, and I found out that I was unsubscribed from your channel, and I never did it. So I get a lot of those as well. I've been getting a lot of that on Facebook, actually. So, and remember, I was shadow banned for, I don't know, it was like 9 months on Twitter before we figured out that I was shadow banned when producer Tim was here. And I had a bunch of you going, you just put something on Twitter, you said, but I can't see it. And so I would log into my Twitter. I'm like, it's right there on the top of my feed. And then people were sending me screenshots of my Twitter, and it wasn't there. So Twitter was hiding my tweets from people, but letting me see it. Now, for those of you who don't know, I can do that to your comments on Facebook. So if you go onto a Facebook post, and some of you get a little salty with your comments, okay, and depending on the content of the comment, I mean, I'll either send you a message and be like, okay, behave. Or if it's one of those things where I don't think you're trying to be overtly bigoted, but what you said could come off that way, I will just hide it. You still see the comment is there. Nobody else sees the comment, okay? And that way, it's my way of, one, protecting you, protecting me, and then not having to deal with a bunch of crap for it later. Because I am involved in a corporate environment here. So, there's things that have to happen to maintain continuity and things like that with the company. And I don't check the comments all the time. So I rely on you all to tell me when somebody is being a bigot. And you do a pretty good job of policing your own, and I appreciate that. And as long as you let me know that stuff, I can go back and I can go through. But I have a 2-comment policy, basically, where I comment once on somebody, and then I'll comment again, and then that's about it. Why? Because I have more important things to do. I've got bowel movements to do. I've got things to drink, whiskey to evaluate, that sort of stuff. More important things than dealing with idiots on the internet. But other than that, that's what Twitter was doing to my account previously. And they also did that with my Facebook. So Facebook had actually been blocking me too. And I had mentioned this for months and months and months. And then we ended up finding out, Crowder, I think, was the guy that discovered it. He ended up finding out with whistleblowers that Facebook was doing this to a ton of people who were doing the live streams. This is why I don't do the live stream on Facebook anymore, because they were throttling everybody's account. And I went from having thousands and thousands and thousands of views per live stream to having 20. Literally overnight. You remember that, Joe? So it would go from like 5 or 6, because I would show these numbers to corporate here, and they'd be like, holy crap, your Facebook numbers are great. And then all of a sudden, it was like 20. Nobody would comment. And it turns out they weren't showing anybody those videos. So somebody said to use McGill's account. No, you know what? Carl Stutzman did stay logged in on Facebook today. I could have streamed to Carl Stutzman's Facebook today. That would have been funny. That would have been really funny. I don't know when my coworkers are going to learn that they're sharing a computer in my studio, but I am the tenured employee here. So this is my space, okay? This is my space when John's not in it. So I don't know when they are going to realize, okay? I don't know when they're going to realize they can't use my computer and not log out of their stuff. I'm just saying. All right, 574-25-95-95-3. Do you have a serious situation happening in New Jersey right now? And we're going to go ahead and talk about that coming up on Newstalk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Keeping you connected with breaking news on radio at 95.3 FM and online at 953mnc.com. Casey Hendrickson.
Newstalk
What's
95.3.
it's related to an app.
Breaking news and weather station.
Really, it's
Weather
related to
served
the
up by the Prime Table in Niles. 26 years of exceptional food, tremendous service, and great people. Visit Prime Table today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner.
Are you sure you are not a bot? Not exactly sure. I don't know that bots know if they're alive or not. I am on Throne right now, by the way. I am the only person watching on Throne, but I do enjoy Throne. I think Throne's neat. So I'm gonna go ahead and link to it. What's up, Anthony? How you doing, man? Thank you, Robert. I appreciate it. Even if I am a robot. If he was a robot, explain his hatred of cats and cheesecake. That's a good point. Robots do seem to like cats, and that's because, as we all know from the Terminator franchise, dogs don't like robots. Of course, anybody's had a drone or any one of those Roombas or whatever probably knows dogs don't like robots. What a what an interesting thing to log into. I just logged into Twitter like normal and did the two-factor authentication and everything else, and it came through. Did the code, and it was like, your account has been limited. I'm like, you gotta be. Good stuff.
From the very first step to the final phase, you need the trusted experience of a team who knows how to get the job done. Final Phase Electric has the tools and the experience to make your dreams a reality, and can step in at any time to assess your project with a level of unmatched precision that throws guesswork out the window. We're looking for positive results to positive people, and we're positive that we can help you with your commercial or industrial project.
Yeah, I am only following 5 people, it says.
But you're not.
But I'm not. Right.
574-522.
Dude, they don't know.
Let us take the guesswork
They don't know.
help you sleep easy. You've got better things to do.
I wonder if Mr. Harker is going to join up today.
Or visit filephaseelectric.net.
Attention, you may be eligible for cash payments, identity theft protection services, and other benefits of the Equifax data breach proposed class action settlement. If you're one of about 147 million U.S. consumers whose information was impacted in the 2017 Equifax data breach, you may be eligible for cash payments for time and money you spent because of the data breach. Visit EquifaxBreachSettlement.com for more information about your rights under the settlement and to make a claim. Or you can call toll-free 1-833-759-2982. That's EquifaxBreachSettlement.com. Or call 1-833-759-2982. This is a court-approved legal notice paid for by the Equifax Data Breach Class Action Settlement Fund.
Is your digital life overwhelming you?
I'm Shelly Palmer.
I'm Ross Martin.
And you're listening to Think About This.
Let Shelly and Ross help you survive the disruption.
I felt like I needed to have it. I think a lot of people don't know, but they probably should have one too. Because if we're not taking care of ourselves, who will? That's what we're going to explore.
So welcome to Think About This.
The more you listen, the less you know.
Listen and subscribe to Think About This, free wherever you get your podcasts. From the Westwood One Podcast Network, where the conversation starts.
And all of you, encourage everything that makes you the greatest heroes on this earth or any other, because that's what it will take to defeat our opponent.
Yeah, I meant to say sub. Sorry. I mean, you can sub too. That'd be great.
Supergirl, Superman, back with the legends. Holy all-star squadron. I am elongated man. Did a okay fun.
How well they're actually executing.
Do what?
I wonder how well they're actually executing.
Executing who?
The Night of Instant. I don't know how well they're executing.
Tonight on the CW. Starting tonight at 8, followed by ABC 57 News at 10. All
Fox News' website is all jacked up right now.
At first it was just annoyance, but then it started affecting my daily life. My hernia was That's when I learned about robotic
No,
surgery.
John is not the producer today.
No, I'm here.
I was back to normal in
Hello,
days.
my name is Joe.
Thanks to St. Joe,
To hear
I
and
turned time
respond.
sitting out into time cherishing the people I love. Get back to the things you enjoy. Schedule your hernia assessment today. Call
That's it. No purge yet. Not on the.
Wake up with us first thing weekday mornings for your
Joe, did you watch Morty Gets a Dragon episode?
Oh, Rick and Morty? No, I haven't watched it.
breaking news and weather.
There you go.
And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. Once again, I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. Watch the live stream, youtube.com/Casey the Host, twitch.tv/Casey the Host. If you're on your mobile device, your phone, and you don't like the YouTube or the Twitch app, get Throne Live. You can watch it on the desktop too, but watching on Throne on the desktop doesn't make much sense when you have YouTube and Twitch. But on your mobile device, the Throne Live app, and just look for Casey Hendrickson, and you can watch the live stream and chat in there and post links and pictures and stuff, is way, way nicer looking. So I would encourage you to do that. All right, 574-25-95-95-3. That is 2595-953. This situation in Jersey City, New Jersey is ugly. The audio from that Fox has been playing, and you'll hear here in just a few minutes with the Fox break. Pretty rapid gunfire, lots of gunfire happening. Appears to be a police operation that went sideways here. More than one officer has been shot in a standoff in Jersey City, New Jersey, according to the governor. Police are looking for two shooters, a man and a woman. Multiple agencies have responded to the scene on a residential street in the city, which is across the Hudson River from Manhattan. The sheriff's department and a number of police, SWAT, and ATF officers are on the scene. And I'm reading from CBS News' latest report, by the way. Today is a horrific day. Officers have come under attack, and we have several wounded. Our hearts are heavy, and the violence is not over. We need prayers, according to the State Policemen's Benevolent Association when they sent out a tweet. The, New Jersey Police, Transit Police are assisting New Jersey with an active shooting incident within the area, the West Side branch. Stay clear of the area. Essentially, they obviously locked down schools and stuff like that. So we've got one cop shot, two others have been hurt in an ambush, is what they are saying. So now NBC New York is saying it's an ambush, all right? At least one gunman has opened fire on police in Jersey City. This is WABC. So again, keep in mind that a lot of these things are going to fluctuate, and the different news reports are going to have different information and that sort of stuff. So we've also heard some say that at least one suspect is dead here. Of course, other reports are saying they're looking for a man and a woman. So just understand that it's fluid. It's a developing situation. At least one Jersey City police officer was injured when at least one gunman opened fire in a cemetery and then fled to a grocery store where he continued firing at officers and possibly others this afternoon. Authorities say the initial shooting happened at Bayview Cemetery just after noon, with the officer wounded in the shoulder and was possibly related to a drug deal gone bad. Up to two suspects then fled to the area of JC Kosher Supermarket on Martin Luther King Drive, where the shots were fired at responding officers. Police retreated, took up defensive positions, and hundreds of officers, SWAT units, and the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives descended on the scene. A massive response included resources from neighboring municipalities as well as the FBI. Officials said at least one suspect, possibly two, appeared to be neutralized, and a robot was being sent into the store. The wounded officer was taken to Jersey City Medical Center. There were also reports of a second officer who was shot, and the New Jersey PBA reported that several were wounded. So again, it's when you go from one news agency to the other, you're getting differences in the story. All right. We don't know which one is going to have the best information as of yet. As time goes on, we'll certainly learn all of that. There'll be a press conference when this is all taken care of. But again, some are saying an ambush. Some are saying drug deal gone wrong. Others are indicating that maybe this was a police operation that went wrong. I don't know. All right. So we're doing what we can to go ahead and get the information out to you, but this is still a developing and ongoing situation. So as we learn more, we will certainly let you know those additional details as they become available to us. But right now, I went to NBC, ABC, and CBS, and every single one of them had a different story, and all of them were posted within the last 10 minutes. Okay. So I don't know exactly what's going on as of yet. And until we get official confirmation from leadership at the Jersey City Department or from the governor's office, we're probably not going to know a whole lot. So just keep that in mind before rushing out there and posting things on social media and making the situation even possibly worse. All right, 574-25-95, 95.3, 95.3 MNC's 12 Days of Christmas are upon us once again. 12 days of great prizes that you can sign up for a chance to win. You can log on to 953mnc.com, or you can text the word DAYS right now to 45364. So here's prizes that we have available. I'm going to run through the list of all of the people who are giving prizes away, and then you can go to 953mnc.com or text the word days to 45364 and register to win the ones that you want. So we've got prizes from Temper Grill, the Lerner Theater, Michiana Family Insurance, Impress Jewelry Creations, Belcher's Guns and Gunsmithing, C. Kramer Interiors, Monterey Mexican Bar and Grill, Z-Bart of South Bend, ZX Gun, South Bend Chocolate Company, Antonio's Italian Ristorante, Parkwood Auto Spa, and it's an opportunity for you to, again, you can register to win all of the ones that you want, or you can register to win all of them. It's entirely up to you. But you got to go to 953mnc.com or text the word days right now to 45364. Best of luck. It's our biggest promotion. We do this every single year. It's always a smash hit, and the prizes this year are especially awesome. So go check that out. Sponsored by Parkwood Auto Spa, South Bend Chocolate Company, and, of course, your friends here at 95.3 MNC. We got more coming up. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
This is Michiana's breaking news and weather station. MNC.
I'm never concerned about grammar all that much. I didn't know which there to use, so I used the one that I thought fit best, okay?
Uh-oh. You getting grammar Nazi?
By your mother.
By my mom?
Yes. I was talking to Speed about Rick and Morty.
Yeah, he was saying the show's getting funny again. I have never watched an entire episode.
It's not, I mean, it's an acquired taste. It's not because it's whatever says it is. It's like too high class and you have to be smart to understand it. No, you just, if you don't like it, you don't like it. It's like any show ever.
I just, I've never given it a chance. I did watch a couple of episodes of Venture Brothers because somebody recommended it for free. I watched a couple of that. I thought that was entertaining. Gumball, I think, is entertaining, but Bree's over it. So, live scanner audio from Jersey on Discord. Thank you, Daniel. Appreciate that. That is awesome.
Jersey's governor says officers have been shot in a gun battle in Jersey City, just across the Hudson River from Manhattan.
Warsbach, thank you for the follow. Appreciate that.
Sources telling Fox News a male and female suspect have been killed, but a search continues.
Male and female suspect killed now. Okay.
House Democrats say they'll draft 2 articles of impeachment against President Trump, accusing the president of abusing his power and of obstructing Congress. Although he's standing by the president, he's Democrats continue to undermine the 2016 election result. Fox's Jared Halpern on Capitol Hill.
Buy a premium apparently comes with the free Google Home Mini.
What does?
Spotify Premium.
Okay. That's an interesting promotion.
Yeah.
Huh. Very interesting.
Kids love to go. So mom and dad bring up to the frying table.
Now, your home comfort experts, heating specialists, first warning forecast.
It was funny, like a peer of mine in radio. He's like, dude, did you get suspended already? I was like, yeah, sure did. And the funny thing is guess what? He sent me a personal message to ask me if I got suspended instead of a text. He sent a text.
Commodities largely worked higher today, including the soybean market once again. This is Future Ag Today, Tuesday closing farm market update. A lot of news.
And it's actually legit. It's not like someone's taking Spotify IP and making a thing.
Okay.
It's an actual
That's an interesting promotion.
Yeah.
I know I said that already, but it is
it's
an interesting promotion.
It's a very interesting promotion. I agree. But
March fees 9.15 up 3.75, and we turned
I don't have
around with
anything
March
to hide.
finishing
Full wire
higher
anything.
at
So bad, I don't want to use it.
February live
There we
cattle
go.
124.7
Well, I mean,
17, and February hogs up
the
$1.27.
listening and everything else is, I mean, it mostly hit you with ads and stuff. But
Future Ag Today,
Well,
Indiana's most listened to farm network.
then maybe I won't see unrelevant ads. Maybe I'll stop getting Disney Plus ads because I already own Disney Plus. I mean, I don't own Disney Plus.
But you keep talking about The Mandalorian.
Yes, because I have a Disney Plus subscription.
They just want you to watch The Mandalorian.
I watched The Mandalorian. You have an Empress read. By the way, and I missed to tell you because I got concerned with other things.
There are 3 people watching on Throne.
One of them.
Oh, you're one of them? I'm probably the other one. And then there's probably Speed is on there because he's
2 active users.
Ooh, now there's more. Throne Live. Throne Live.
4 active users.
I know. Throne's never going to be big. So they sent me a message because I had inquired on their, they have like a message forum. And so I went ahead and asked them, hey, can I embed this with OBS or anything like that? And can I, bring those comments in with the comments that I bring in from like YouTube and Twitch? And they said, no. But you can go ahead and embed your live stream in Throne. I'm like, yeah, I know that, you dummy. That's what I'm doing. And so then somebody had followed up with me later because I downloaded it. And by the good customer service over there at Throne. And they were saying, hey, have you done a live stream with it yet? What do you think? I'm guessing I'm one of the early adopters of this. Okay. And so I wrote back to her and I told her, I gave her the positives. It's a very clean interface. It's great. The links are awesome. The ability to post pictures are fantastic. What's up, Daniel? Just popped up on Throne. And I said, and for a mobile platform for somebody on their phone, it's way better than YouTube and Twitch. But I said, you guys are never going to go anywhere if you don't allow streamers to be able to bring Throne people into the live stream. And I kind of explained to her, most of us are streaming to multiple platforms now, which is true. And while people on Throne seem to enjoy the platform, so they're over here where Twitch and YouTube people are on the stream and you can see their comments and everybody can react to it. Whereas nobody but the few people that are on Throne can interact with Throne. So I said, once you guys allow us to bring the Throne users into the fold and they can join the community with YouTube and Twitch, I was like, then you're going to be great. It's like, you're not going to do well otherwise because you're not going to get people to pull, especially since Throne is not a streaming app. It just embeds streams from other platforms. So you have to bring those other platforms into Throne or Throne into those other platforms. And if you do that, you can be successful, but you're not going to be if you keep doing it like this.
Now is an excellent time to put these keepsakes to good use and get cold, hard cash. Here's the thing. If it's important to you as ways to make great people who does coin jewelry are honest, hard-working folks, will respect your valuables and will give you a fair price.
Yeah, she was into Gumball for a little bit. Yeah, Gumball's entertaining. My wife was a little curious, a couple of times. She's like, it kind of gets a little older in some episodes, but I'm like, but it's not like South Park or Family Guy older or anything, so I didn't have an issue with it.
Buying that car, having a child, getting away from the rat race, if only for a little while. Now you can add another decision to that list.
I thought it was entertaining. As far as the shows that my kids watch, Gumball is at the top of the list, but they don't watch it anymore.
We guarantee it. Visit Trilogy H.
Just not interested.
To find a community near you.
Paint? No, Paramount isn't just paint. It's the #1 paint in overall interior hide and stain resistance, providing the most advanced protection in just one coat. And now you can get that same outstanding protection with our new Paramount One Coat White. This first of its kind one coat ready mix white provides a clean white finish. You'll find Paramount paint exclusively at Menards. Third-party test interior paint claims versus super premium home center brands in eggshell shade.
Why the heck did Jeopardy have a whole category about Pokemon?
William Shatner filed for divorce.
From the first step to the final phase, industrial and commercial electrical done right.
Is Casey Hendrickson.
And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I'm your host, Casey Hendrickson. Phone number 574-2595-953. That is 2595953. If you are looking to impress that special someone this year, there's no better place to go than Impress Jewelry Creations. So I've had dozens of listeners contact me since I started endorsing Impress Jewelry Creations, which I only did when I went out there and met Bill and the entire staff and was so impressed with them. Impressed with Impress. That I said, all right, let's do it. And it's been a while since I've endorsed a jewelry place before. I've only done it in other markets. I don't think I've ever done it here in Michiana. And so I went out there, met them. They gave me a tour, went back to the facilities. I met all of the artisans and everybody that are out there that do that fantastic work in the back of the building. And, you know, then I got to meet Kelly, who is one of the sales reps over there, who's always handled my purchases. And they're just awesome people. I mean, absolutely phenomenal. I went in and I had a cold one day and I was talking to Bill and Kelly disappeared and she brought me a special drink that's supposed to help with getting you over being sick. She just made it for me. I mean, it's just, you know, little things like that. And I've heard other people say that that she has done that for them as well. So it wasn't just because of who I am. Because some of you, I know you're out there, you go, yeah, Casey, but it's you. They don't do that for everybody. But I actually had somebody say, I went in, I wasn't feeling very good. And sure enough, she made me that drink that you mentioned. And it's just little things like that, right? Customer service. Anniversary happened this last year and was able to go to Impress Jewelry Creations. Didn't really have an idea of what I wanted for the wife. Poked around and thought I had a piece that I was looking at with Kelly. And Bill came over and he and I started talking about, I think we were talking about blood diamonds and stuff like that and the changes in the diamond trade and how they get their stones. And I don't know what happened. I was having a conversation with Bill and she overheard something and we got done with it. And she said, this is a great piece, don't get me wrong, but I think I have a better choice for you. And she took me to a different display and she showed me this beautiful necklace, which instantaneously I said, yep, that's my wife right there. I don't know what it is that she heard in my conversation with Bill that made her change her mind about what would probably be the best piece for my wife, but she heard something, she picked up on it. She was listening to the details of my conversation with him, and I still have no idea what she heard. No clue. But she picked up on something, and she helped me pick out the perfect necklace for my wife's anniversary gift. She was blown away by it, by the way. Absolutely blown away. And that's just kind of the customer service that you get there. It's just a phenomenal place, whether you buy something or not. And, you know, if you go into Impress Jewelry Creations and you don't buy something, they want to give you a good experience because when you're ready to buy, they want you to come back. So go to impressjewelers.com. And again, you can visit them in person as well, but go to impressjewelers.com, learn a little bit more about them, and then visit their showroom at 1233 University Drive, City Plaza South. They're in Granger, Indiana, right next to Temper Grill and C. Kramer Interiors. And when you go into Impress Jewelry Creations, make sure you let them know that you are in there because you listen to me in this program. I would appreciate it greatly. And trust me, you're not going to miss the mark if you get something from Impress Jewelry Creations for the holidays. Plus, they've got the big sale going up to 40% off most of the store until the end of the year. So go to Impress Jewelry Creations. All right, 574-2595-953. That is 2595953. You can also send a text message to 45364. And please put MNC at the beginning of that message. So everybody is talking about William Barr. I'm going to play pieces of that interview a little bit later on today, not now, but I'll be playing pieces of that a little bit later on today. Basically, the Attorney General has said that the evidence that the FBI had was not sufficient enough to investigate the Trump campaign and get FISA warrants. And he's right. Based on what the law says has to be present to get a FISA warrant, the Attorney General is 100% correct, okay? Now, you have to understand something. What the law says you're supposed to have to be able to get a FISA warrant versus how often they actually issue the FISA warrants are two very different things. The FISA courts are very easy to get those warrants, but they're not supposed to be. In the actual written law, FISA warrants are supposed to be difficult to get, but they almost are never denied a warrant. Now, of course, the issue, as we have talked about before, was whether or not the FBI misled the FISA court about the evidence against Carter Page in order to get that FISA warrant and investigate the Trump campaign. or if the FBI was deceived by Fusion GPS, okay? All of the evidence, and including the Attorney General report, shows that the FBI was well aware that they did not have the evidence to go into the FISA court and get that warrant, so they misled the court. They lied about what the information was. They misled the court on who Carter Page was. They went ahead and they left out exculpatory evidence that would have been critical in the FISA court's ability to determine whether or not a FISA warrant should have been issued in that particular case. So the FBI clearly, 100%, undeniable, violated the spirit of the law in going for a FISA warrant. 100%. There is no debate about that, okay? And because they did that, that's leading the Attorney General and the U.S. Attorney to say, when we look at the IG report, which the IG report is exactly what we expected it to be. It was, going to tell everybody the FBI royally screwed up, but they weren't sophisticated enough to know that they were, again, quoting Comey here, they weren't sophisticated enough to know that they were breaking the law, but they certainly were. And we'll talk about this a little bit more. And again, later on today, we'll play you some of what William Barr had to say. We'll take your phone calls next on 95.3 MNC.
Casey.
All right. I will pass it on to him, sir. No problem. That dude really likes their press rule.
Who?
That dude who just.
What did he say?
He said you were right. They were very nice to him. They helped him out, and they let him pick out a gift that his wife and really liked.
Awesome.
Wow, so you have any secrets?
Awesome. Yeah, my dog was happy. He went out this morning. There's some snow on the ground. He likes to disappear in the snow for a little bit. It looks like me. Mm-hmm. Oh, I gotta get vibes up. That's what I'm missing. You I was missing something. I mean, I only have like 5 or 6 social media / direct comments things to get open while I'm doing this.
Yeah, comment. That's pretty well standard for a lot of the YouTube stuff. It's all pretty well retroactive.
What?
The YouTube rules are being enforced retroactively.
Oh, yeah.
That's pretty well standard for a lot of stuff, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yeah, they change the rules retroactively, and they go back, and they get a bunch of... I had a video that was up there forever, never had any problems with it, and then they dinged it and demonetized it and all sorts of stuff years after it had been uploaded.
Issues that haven't even popped up yet. We even provide 24-hour emergency service. Ask yourself, has my business grown beyond our current resources? Are we pushing our...
1 police officer killed, 2 others, and civilian wounded.
A safe working environment for my staff. One call does it all. 574-522-4444. From plant wiring, service upgrades, energy-efficient lighting, and commercial solutions for every industry. Let us take the guesswork out of your project and help you sleep easy. Find us on Facebook or visit finalphaseelectric.net.
I need all of you. Encourage everything that makes you the greatest heroes on this earth or the other. Because that's what it will take to defeat our opponent. This is their destiny. Now go serve your higher purpose. The Flash, Arrow, Supergirl, Superman, Batwoman, the Legends. Holy all-star squadron.
3 Supermen and a Batman. They're using the Smallville Superman, the current one who's playing Superman for the Supergirl TV show, and then the guy who plays the Atom, because he used to play Superman, they're having him revisit his role as Superman. So it's really cool, but are they executing it well? Is my question.
Yeah,
and then they're having Kevin Conroy play an old Batman.
I heard. Oh yeah, so the Green Lantern relaunch. They're looking at Helmsworth as the Green Lantern now.
The one who
Thor.
played Thor?
Yeah.
As Hal? I don't know if he would fit as a Hal Jordan. I could see him being like a Guy Gardner.
I mean, maybe they're not doing Hal. I don't know. It depends on the timeline, I guess.
Yes.
But okay, the thing is that he's already established as
I
Thor.
know.
Have his brother play it.
Oh,
His brother's an actor.
Michiana's News Channel. Would you like to talk to
It's
Casey?
a little weird.
Michiana's News Channel. Would you like to talk to Casey?
The total value RV.
Okay.
RVing is the perfect way to explore this great country of ours and reconnect with family through what I like to call
He is now on B100.
started.
Yep, he's on the B100 morning show.
RV is in the number one market.
No problem.
We have a huge selection of units for everybody.
All right.
No hidden fee. Come in and find out why it's better with
I don't think he has the right body for it. Chris, I don't think he has the right body to play Optimus.
Well,
he's
when
too
he's
bulky.
not playing Thor, he's not bulky. He's very lean. Yeah. When you see him in other roles, he's a lean guy.
He's sick.
Hey, good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. So the latest updates on Jersey City. One police officer has been fatally shot. 2 additional officers, 1 civilian, have also been struck by gunfire, but they are in stable condition. Situation is still active. That was as of 14 minutes ago. Fox News had reported in the news break that we had at 3:30 that suspects were also dead. So again, fast developing situation, and we'll continue to update you throughout the program as that continues on. And multiple stories: drug deal gone bad, ambush, police operation gone bad. We're still waiting for all of those details. Okay, 574-25-95-95-3. That is 2595-953. To the phone lines we go. Jeff, welcome to the program.
Hi, Casey. How
there.
you doing today?
Doing well, man. What's on your mind?
Hey, this Inspector General Horowitz,
Yep.
he's kind of confined to what he can do. He's just like a supervisor that can discipline his employees.
Well, I mean,
He can't go outside of the spectrum and look at nobody.
to an extent, I mean, so this is the thing that I think a lot of people have to understand about inspector generals. They're great tools, but they're administrative tools only. They don't have any legal powers, okay? So they can't charge anybody with a crime or anything like that. But this is also a lifetime appointment. So this is his job. It's not
Right.
his job until Trump leaves office. It's his job. And if he makes the Democrats angry when the Democrats are in power, he can get fired. If he makes Trump angry, he can get fired now. So there's going to be an aspect of him wanting to protect his job as well. So the report is going to be as down the middle as he can possibly make it, even if naturally he could arrive at different conclusions. So what Horowitz has always been good about, and again, Horowitz is very good at his job, but what Horowitz has always been good at is giving enough information to allow either Congress or the Attorney General of the United States to then take his report and go, okay, we're going to go down this path here based on the information in this report, and we will be the bad guys here. So that way he doesn't have everything come down on him, because he doesn't have any arresting powers or charging capabilities or
Right.
anything like that. So
On the other side, Casey, Barr and Durham is already kind of pretty much said they disputed his report.
correct.
And this goes a lot deeper than what people really think. I mean, this is like Comey and McCabe and Lisa Page and Strzok and all them.
Yeah.
They're just grunts on the ground working for this deep state. People don't realize that.
Right. Yeah, and Lisa Page is actually suing the FBI and the Department of Justice today.
Well,
we'll get
see
to
how
that
that
later.
works out for
Yeah, we'll get to that later. It's an interesting case that she's presenting.
But
I saw an expert today who is an ex-DOJ official, and he went on with Fox and Friends today, and he said Durham's reaction to this, which we went over yesterday, basically, let me see if I can quote him here. We do not agree with the Inspector General's conclusion. Now, remember, the Inspector General's conclusion is He listed all of the crimes that were committed by the FBI. Okay, he listed in actual crimes, violations of the law. He listed them all, and then he says, "But I don't think there was any political motivation." Okay, so it's literally just like Comey going out and saying Hillary Clinton broke the law in all of these ways, but we don't think that she intended to do it. She's not sophisticated enough to know that she was breaking the law. We all know that the FBI is sophisticated enough to know what they're doing. Okay, we all understand that. So when Horowitz writes that the FBI violated this provision of FISA, violated that provision of FISA, and everything else, you can read between the lines that Horowitz is saying they totally knew what they were doing, and they were lying to the court here, committing crimes. They knew that. But Horowitz can't say that because he doesn't want to lose his job. So now Durham comes out there, and Durham says, yeah, we don't agree with that conclusion at all. Barr says we don't agree with that conclusion at all. And they provide evidence, which are in the Horowitz report for that. And this expert today, he says that basically Durham's reaction to this thing means that Durham has the goods on everybody who is facing criminal charges now. And when those two BlackBerry phones were found, those missing BlackBerry phones, and Durham found them because for some reason somebody was dumb enough to not destroy them. When he found them, it was the next day we heard that there was FBI agents who were being criminally investigated, and it was 2 days later that the whole thing turned into a criminal investigation. Just like that once he had those phones. So what he has on those phones are critical to this entire thing, and nobody really knows what's on there.
I got one more question for you, Casey, because you're pretty good. You're pretty thorough.
Uh-huh.
What about the, with these ground troops like Comey and all them, the deep state, supposedly there's people all around the world with billions of dollars that's actually running this deep state act.
Okay.
That the United States is putting up with, that these people are just ground troops.
Well, Comey and these, I don't think in any way, shape, or form are they leaders in the deep state or the swamp or what have you.
Who's responsible for this?
Well, look, Washington, D.C., I'm not going to say this is a Bilderberg Illuminati sort of a thing because nobody at the Illuminati has told me that we're responsible for all of this. But, if it's a Bilderberg thing or what, I don't know. Okay. What I do know is that there are people who are career appointments in Washington, D.C., and they're in positions where they can influence the outcome of stuff. And they like having that influence and they like having that power and they don't like it being challenged. And so they're going to protect their friends. And look, this happens at the local level in your political parties.
Right.
How many people are frustrated with their local political parties across the country? I'm not indicting anybody specifically here, but I'm just saying who are upset with it because bad people are protected by other people in the party and then nothing ever changes. Well, yeah, it's because there's a power structure there and they don't want to let it go. They do not want to let it go. I have literally been in a city where it was discovered that there was massive corruption in the local political party. So there was a rebellion, if you will, of younger people, came out, threw them all out, and then literally people were showing up at people's house, kicking in their door, and threatening them until they resigned. So there's, without a doubt, there is just, it's like you're a part of an organization, you're protecting your own. And it goes back, sometimes generations. It's, they're all friends and they want to protect their friends and their coworkers and everybody who's a part of the thing. Is it this big, giant, sinister, hey, we're going to have a secret meeting and we're going to, wear disguises and talk about our plots? And probably not, but I think it's much more of a, we're going to protect our own sort of a scenario. And that's what appears to be happening here.
Right, this stuff with Trump, this is a downright assault on us.
Look, when I say coup, I'm not using that word lightly. I'm really not. Hey, I got to run, man. Appreciate the call.
Okay,
right, take care.
Thanks.
All right, we'll play you what William Barr had to say about this in the 5 o'clock hour. We've got a lot to discuss today, including updates on news.
WTRC FM. And HD1 and HD.
Sorry, I had to.
Well, my thing said I had 1 second. So, you know what? Bleep you. Uh-huh.
I gotta do my job, Casey.
Sure you do.
Stand on my decision.
Sure you do.
You do?
Mm-hmm. They posted Barr's interview on Thrive. Or Throne, excuse me. Not Thrive.
Was shot in the shoulder, and he should recover. And then 2 other officers are receiving medical treatment due to shrapnel. There is a report 2 of the shooters are dead, and the search is on for a third. Also, people at one of the scenes are said to have been killed. Officers are continuing to investigate this very fluid incident.
Thanks, Colonel. The U.S. Navy just confirming that flight training is now suspended for nearly 200 Saudi Arabian students.
Hey, you think? Do you think?
The gunman was a Saudi student killed by responding.
You think maybe you need to go ahead and suspend that?
Proposed 2 articles of impeachment.
We stand here today because the president's continuing abuse of his power has left us no choice.
Intelligence Committee Chairman Adam Schiff also accusing the president of obstructing Congress. The committee's ranking Republican, Devin Nunes, says Democrats are just worried about losing the election.
People around America, they don't want us focusing on this. This is a disaster for them.
President Trump calls it political madness. Meantime, the president meeting behind closed doors with Russia's foreign minister, who met separately today with Secretary of State Mike Pompeo.
Molly Hemingway. 6 minutes ago, can't get over how the IG report showed that the DOJ and the FBI knew the dossier was complete bunk by January of 2017. And yet, they kept suggesting otherwise until, well, yesterday. To continue to seek spy warrants, to launch a special counsel, to leak, etc. All these things are so very scandalous.
News Talk 95.3, Michiana's News Channel, at 95.3MNC.com. I'm Tom Lee in the MNC News Center, and among this afternoon's top stories, a man who served 20 months in custody for a wrongful conviction is suing police in Southwest Michigan. Ray McCann was repeatedly hounded by police during an investigation of a girl's killing in St. Joseph County. He denied any role in the death of the 11-year-old girl, but says he felt pressured to plead no contest to perjury. The conviction was thrown out in 2017 after
Oh my, I gotta see this.
lawsuit says his rights were violated during a corrupt scheme by police. Another man has confessed to killing Jimmy Perrick. 95.3 MNC's Darren Wright reporting. And Indiana's Attorney General is turning to the nation's highest court in its efforts to fight a South Bend abortion clinic. The 7th Circuit Court of Appeals issued a preliminary injunction back in August that allowed the Whole Women's Health Alliance to run their center without a license. It was
Hold on, I'm reading something.
because of documentation issues with the state's health department. AG Curtis Hill now wants the Supreme Court to reverse the lower court ruling and give Indiana the power to determine if the center should be open. The hearing on the permanence of the clinic will be in August of next year. It's not clear if the Supreme Court will take the case. That's 95.3 MNC's Carl Stutzman. Weather sponsored by.
So this mom, she's got a kid with autism. They were looking for a school that would meet his needs. They finally found one. She says that her son is usually bubbly and a happy child. However, after he started going to the school, she suddenly noticed that something appeared to have changed. He seemed a little off, and she knew it was out of character. She said it was almost as though Camden had been replaced by a complete stranger, as he no longer appeared to enjoy his life, and he started to act entirely out of character towards his parents. She confessed that her usually placid Camden had started to lash out at his parents and was even becoming aggressive, but that wasn't all. He had wet the bed until he was 3 years old, but eventually grew out of the habit. However, he was now waking up in the middle of the night and had to ask his parents to change the sheets. Nothing was adding up. Let's see. She decided that the best place to start looking was at the Hope Academy, where he was going to school. Let's see. She thought maybe he was being bullied or something like that. Let me get to the other part of this. He was stressed all the time. All right, so she was determined to find the answer to help her son, but knew that she would need to take matters into her own hands if she stood a chance of uncovering the truth. It wasn't until she found an old tape recorder that Melissa had the perfect plan. Now she just needed to find a way to sneak the recorder into the school without anybody finding out. So she hid the device in the front pocket of his backpack.
living is affordable.
Let's see.
Sources such as private pay, Medicaid waiver, and veterans aid and attendance.
Silverbird's living at Mishawaka December
Skipping
Weekend
all of
Special
the
is
other
$0
stuff.
deposit and half off rent for December and January. Ask for details. Hi, I'm Jay Farner, CEO.
Most of the recordings were almost impossible to make out as they were completely muffled. It appears as though Melissa's grand plan had gone wrong until she heard some voices clear and could make out what they were saying. She couldn't believe what she was hearing. It turned out to be the teacher on the recording. Camden was taking a test in the classroom, but it appeared as though the teacher was being less than supportive. In fact, she soon questioned what is hard about it when Camden was supposed to be writing a word. The youngster replied with a frustrated noise, only for the teacher to mock him with her reply. But that was the beginning of all of it. So basically, she put this recording in there, and found the teacher was harassing her kid every day he went to school.
For JD Power award information, visit jdpower.com. Rates subject to change. Pay 1.375% fee. Receive this discount rate. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. License not 50 states. MLS number 33.
Yeah, she's taking legal action, of course. Interesting. All right, here we go.
This is Casey Hendrickson on News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel, your breaking news and weather station.
And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. Okay, here's the latest update on what's happening in New Jersey City. ABC News. New Jersey police officer was shot before the suspects fled to a store. The officer and multiple civilians have died after a gun battle was prompted by what is believed to have been a drug deal gone bad in Jersey City. The officer was shot at the Bayview Cemetery, allegedly by two suspects who fled to a Jewish supermarket. When officers arrived to the second location, the suspects allegedly opened fire with long guns. The Hudson County Prosecutor's Office confirmed that the officer later died after he was transported to the hospital for treatment. An unknown amount of others inside the supermarket were also killed. We're seeing some reports of there being as many as 4. At least one suspect then retreated from the supermarket and allegedly continued to fire at responding officers. 2 other officers were also struck by gunfire. They are stable. Both suspects are believed to be barricaded inside the store, but police have sent in a robot to make sure. There are multiple people who are dead inside the building, according to Jersey City Mayor Stephen Fulop. He held a press conference here recently. One civilian was also injured. Several SWAT officers on the scene were seen barricading behind cars as several gunshots went off in the neighborhood. Of course, you heard on Fox the sound of the shots here on the air. Heavy gunfire continued for more than an hour. Officer who died was taken to a local hospital with an apparent gunshot wound to his shoulder. Nearby schools have been placed on lockdown, et cetera, et cetera. If you look at Fox News' latest, New Jersey officer killed, 2 others shot in gun battle, 2 suspects killed, third on the loose is the latest that Fox has on this. And again, apparently they gained access to this this grocery store and found several people dead inside. So again, this is still a developing situation, so we don't have all of the facts. We will continue to update you on that in Jersey City, New Jersey. All right, 574-2595, 95.3. That is 2595953. Lisa Page, Miss Side Piece, has now filed a lawsuit against the FBI and the Department of Justice, citing the cost of therapy after Trump mocked her salacious text messages. That is an interesting thing for you to be suing over. She's not going to win this, obviously. Former FBI lawyer Lisa Page is suing the FBI and Department of Justice, alleging that the government's publication of her salacious text messages with anti-Trump ex-FBI agent Peter Strzok constituted a breach of the Federal Privacy Act, which, of course, it did not because, well, you're using government property and this stuff is available. In the complaint filed on Tuesday, the 39-year-old Page said that she suffered numerous damages, including a permanent loss of earning capacity due to reputational damage. That's unlikely. She could probably get a job at MSNBC or CNN and get paid more than she was getting paid in government work. The cost of therapy to cope with unwanted national media exposure and harassment. caused by the disclosure, which, of course, the disclosure, came out with FOIA requests, so the government had to comply with that anyway. Page's complaint also sought reimbursement for the cost of child care during the transportation to multiple investigative reviews and appearances before Congress. So if you do something that is now legally questionable and have to appear as a witness in a legal capacity, the people who made you appear have to now cover your child care. She's got a pair. I'll give her that. It's probably why Peter Strzok liked her. Not that anything is wrong with that. Cost of paying data privacy services to protect her personal information and attorney's fees. On December 12, 2017, Page said in the complaint, DOJ or FBI officials disclosed her sensitive text messages directly to a select group of reporters to ensure they would become public. Page alleged that after the discovery, she would be able to prove that senior officials knew they were violating the law and that their conduct was willful and intentional. Unlikely. Among those texts was a July 2016 message in which Page wrote to Strzok, Hillary Clinton, just has to win now. I'm not going to lie. I got a flash of nervousness yesterday about Trump. Within days, the FBI began investigating then candidate Trump's alleged connections to Russia, which we now know were completely fabricated out of thin air. And after Trump made a joke at a presidential debate concerning his hand size, Page wrote, "This man cannot be president." Strzok, meanwhile, called Trump a douche and mocked Trump supporters and said that he was scared. Page's lawsuit lamented that Trump's tweets about Page's texts have been retweeted and favorited millions of times. Page went on, has targeted her by name in more than 40 tweets and dozens of interviews, press conferences, and statements from the White House. Yeah, when you say the things that you are saying, okay, you know what? Here's the thing. First of all, how dare she? Can I just say that? You conspired with others to not just prevent somebody from being the president, but to overturn the results of an election and to falsely smear the individual as a spy for Russia or an asset of Russia. And she had a direct hand in some of the things that happened with other members of the Trump campaign being tied into all of this. She also changed around 302 reports to get people indicted. Okay, she changed them. We have her messages, her text messages she didn't want released to the public. We have her messages where she asks what edits should be made to these 302 reports, and then she makes those edits, and those people were charged with crimes. And now she's running around and saying, how dare you embarrass me publicly by telling the entire world that I did these things? Really? So the extent of the outrage you will see from some of her supporters, which are the amoebas out there, it's okay for her to work in collaboration with other individuals in government to get people thrown behind bars, to financially ruin them, to have marriages fall apart, people's homes to be lost. Okay, it's okay for her to do that to other people, but God forbid when you discover that she was a part of all of this, that we talk about what she said in her text messages as a part of that whole plot. Because it embarrasses her. She argued that federal law prevents agencies from disclosing personal records about individuals unless an exception applies to the individual who is the subject of the record, consents in writing to the disclosure. Page's lawsuit claims that there was no public interest justification for the government's leak. Yeah, I think there's a lot of people who are going to disagree with that, which is why we're talking about it so frequently. Given that the DOJ Inspector General Michael Horowitz was already reviewing the text and later found no evidence of bias affecting investigative decisions that it reviewed. And again, Horowitz, his administrative report is what it is. So she's basically saying Horowitz found no political bias, therefore there was no reason to release my stuff. The problem is that Durham did find political bias, and the Attorney General did find political bias, and they're the ones that really matter here. So she's going to get into this thing. She's going to get into the court. The judge is basically going to hold off on this thing until the other investigation, the criminal investigation of all of this is finished, and it's probably going to be tossed. So anyway, Horowitz noted in an initial report last year that Strzok and Page's anti-Trump texts were not only indicative of a biased state of mind, but even more seriously implies a willingness to take official action to impact the presidential candidate's electoral prospects. Now, she forgot to mention the original, earlier Horowitz report, where he did say that her political bias was very damaging to the investigation. She forgot to mention that part. Look, here's the thing. You had an affair with a guy. You got caught. You worked with said guy to do some things that were possibly illegal on your end, certainly highly unethical, were without a doubt a violation of FBI policy, likely a violation of the law, especially with regards to the 302 report editing. You did all of that. And now you're ticked off that everybody knows. Too bad. Pay for the babysitter, sit down, and take your comeuppance, because that's what you're going to have to deal with now. We got more coming up. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Casey Hendrickson.
News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Your breaking news and weather station.
Weather.
Did you do the
I'm thinking I've got it coming up here.
Tremendous service and great people.
Because I don't think you ever read this
today
way.
for breakfast, lunch, or dinner.
You aren't behind yet.
Your home comfort expert.
Better not be behind. I should be okay.
Showers in our forecast today, but not adding up too much. We'll see upwards of an inch and spot for those communities up Harbor, out towards the Wajek, everyone else less than an inch. The temperature staying in the 20s today. It's going to feel even colder with the minutes. Also, sunshine is going to head towards the second half today, so clear skies tonight. We'll see temperature drop down to 4.
I forgot to add in my show prep for the Barr stuff.
Quiet with partly cloudy skies and a high right around 36 degrees. For Friday, we make it up to 42, but a little bit more cloud cover. In the ABC 87 First Warning Neighborhood Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Lynn Kennedy.
You're only a click or download away from your favorite radio station, because 95.3 MNC is everywhere. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Join our email and text clubs. Full details on our website. And stream us live 24/7 on Alexa, Google Home, and at 953mnc.com.
Today's news, traffic and weather.
Get connected and stay in touch all day and all night, right here on News Talk 95. Your breaking news and weather station.
My name is Dave Titus with International RV in Elkhart, Indiana. You know, one of the things that we see people that are really concerned with is whether they can actually afford an RV or not. They see these big things going down the road, and oh my gosh, I could never have one of those. And we have units that start at around $100 a month.
As far as I know, Kathy, I'm the one that called her side piece the first time. So if Rush did it, I didn't hear him do it, but I did it on my own. I didn't do it after everybody else did it. So could have just been great minds thinking alike. Don't know. But as far as I know, I'm the first person that called her side piece.
I don't like all of the extra cost at the end. We go with price, that's what it is. We don't play all the typical used car salesman games. You know, so we can do it right. But it's 2 miles north of the bypass on Highway 19 in Elkhart, or at International.
Yeah, he did the shift for brains and pencil neck.
Worst for your vehicle.
You know, and again, we all did like full of shift show, all of that. So
Covering your car, building up ice blocks in your wheel well. Don't make winter any worse than it is. Make regular visits to one of the finest exterior auto washes in Parkwood Auto Spa. Located in South Bend, just east of Ironwood on Ireland Road, and Mishawaka off Edison Road. Open 7:30 a.m. to 7:30 p.m., 7 days a week. And this holiday season is a perfect time to take advantage. Big savings are available with discount coupon books priced at buy 5 washes, get 3 free. Enough for you to have some for yourself. All those people on
Rush
the list.
definitely came up with the pencil neck. He was the first one I heard say pencil neck.
Autospot.com to purchase yours today and get your shopping done. And while you're
I think he called him a
there, new app with
tortoise or a turtle first, too.
New year. Keep your car happy and clean this holiday season with Parkwood Auto Spa's buy 5 get 3 discount books. Good at both of
A
their
Kentucky
locations.
judge is accused of seeking threesomes and boozing in the chambers.
Hi, I'm Chris Kramer, Wells and Kramer Interiors. The lines that we carry are
Well, her name is Dawn.
Hickory Chair, Hickory White, Hancock and Moore, Century, Temple Furniture. Why do we carry the lines of furniture we carry? I believe in the quality. I believe that it's a value. When you're purchasing something that is of good quality, it can literally last you as long as you want to own it. The styling is typically a little more classic, so it's not going to be trendy and something you can live with and pass down. We are not a commission-based company, so when someone comes in, we're not going to buy this.
Casey, funny how these mass shootings coincide with Dems failing at their agenda. It is. It's hard to ignore when they happen. Now the question is, okay. So here becomes the question: are the shootings only happening at these opportune times, or is the coverage of the shootings ramped up at opportune times, whereas they wouldn't have been covered otherwise? So maybe the shooting itself was not a false flag, but maybe the media amplification of it ends up being sort of covered, if you will. Although this one's a pretty big shooting. So.
The crossover event continues on a stunning flash tonight on the CW.
Starting tonight at 8, followed by ABC 57 News at 10, all on CW 25.
New national poll has Elizabeth Warren in third place.
Turn to the experts at 4 Winds Custom Heating and Air Conditioning and Carrier to get up to $1,650 in Carrier factory rebates on qualifying equipment. Plus, get a $79 cleaning check. Contact dealer for more details. Visit 4windsheatingandair.com today. 4 Winds Heating and Air Comfort. You can't compare.
Wake up with us first thing weekday mornings for your top
News, weather, and traffic during Michiana's Morning News on 95.3 MNC, your breaking news and weather station.
And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. I'm going to tell you about all natural CBD lotion. So here's the deal, okay? A lot of people are well aware of CBD oil. You know, a lot of people don't want to take CBD oil. They don't like the taste of it. And even but some people have done some really good things with flavor, by the way. I get that. And maybe you're looking for a topical, but you don't want something as heavy as like a cream. There's a lot of CBD creams out there. Those are usually really weak and expensive, though. So what about a lotion? All right, lotion's something that most people need, especially when you have the changing of the seasons and everybody's all dried out, right now. So how about a CBD lotion? And all natural CBD lotion, you know, I've been endorsing this, it feels like it's been forever now, but really a few months. And again, came from somebody I know, happens to own the company, and she came in and she said, I want you to try this for a week, because I know you only endorse stuff that you use. I want you to try it for a week and just let me know. And I'm like, all right, cool. So I look at it, and I'm well read on the CBD stuff. We've talked about it a lot in the program. And I just wasn't sure that I would have an opportunity to use it. Luck would have it, a couple days later in the middle of the night, I get these periodic neck pains that happen as a result of an old neck injury. And I can't go back to sleep. It's a really sharp pain in my neck. And so I rubbed some of the CBD lotion on it. A few minutes later, pain is gone. So I came in the next day, told my sales guy, I am all over this. Let's endorse this now. And we've been endorsing them ever since. And I just had another conversation with a coworker whose relative was using it for serious pain for the leg. And they rubbed it behind their knee. I think he said they do. They rubbed it behind their knee and the pain was gone. And this is something that they have been struggling with their doctors to deal with for a while now. They didn't want opioids or anything of that nature, and they just couldn't figure out how to make the pain go away. This was the only thing that has worked. And still in love with the product, still on the original bottle, and is now asking about the bath bombs, because they do have some bath bombs in limited quantities for the holiday season over at allnaturalcbd.org. the stuff works. Here's the deal. Up to 500 milligrams of full spectrum CBD. If you're going to buy a CBD product, you have to look for full spectrum. Isolate is not nearly as good. So full spectrum is what you want. So you have 250 or 500 milligrams. I recommend just get the 500 milligrams. You don't need to worry about easing yourself into it, okay? Just get the 500. It comes in lavender or unscented. So guys, if you don't want to smell like a flower all day, that's cool. Get the unscented. That's what I use. It works just as good, okay? But ladies, the lavender is great, especially at bedtime. Then you have a 4-ounce bottle as opposed to a 1-ounce bottle, which you see the competition have. So if you find competition that even has up to 500 milligrams of CBD, you'll typically get a 1-ounce bottle for 3 to 4 times more than the all-natural CBD lotion. So go to allnaturalcbd.org. You can get the 500 milligram bottle for just $19.99, and you can use coupon code KC10 to save 10%. They also have a holiday special. If you want to buy 3 bottles at once, you can save yourself an extra $10. So again, go to allnaturalcbd.org, use coupon code KC10, or if you want to pick it up in person, go to any local eSigWorks location, and you can use that same coupon code inside that eSigWorks for the same discount. Again, allnaturalcbd.org. All right, 574-2595, 95.3. That is 2595. 953. I'm looking at this Trump rally. It's 3 hours until the Trump rally happens, and they're already chanting USA. This place is mobbed, absolutely packed. So we will continue to hear reports about that. Every time he goes anywhere, it's just insane. And do you remember when they did with the Obama thing that he was a rock star everywhere he went? He didn't have crowds like this. He had big crowds, don't get me wrong, but it wasn't like this. It's just, if you were to believe the polling, Donald Trump is in a much better position to win this election than he was last election. So if you believe the polling, but who knows? It's still a year out. We'll see. Okay. A Michigan high school student, pure Michigan high school student told police and media that a teacher grabbed her shoulder during school hours and removed a Women for Trump pin from her shirt against her will. Sadie Aragood, a 16-year-old junior at Mason High School in Mason, Michigan, told News 10 that the teacher, Paul Cato, wait a minute, you mean to tell me it's a guy? Joe, the patriarchy is not allowed to tell women what they can and cannot support. You're not allowed to do that, Paul. You can't do that, if the story is true, of course. We've had a couple of these stories end up not being true. Most of them have been true. So anyway, Paul Cato, allegedly a man, I would assume a white guy too, Joe. So white, privileged patriarchy telling this young lady what she can and can't believe. That's very oppressive. Where is the National Association of Women on this? Anyway, Paul Cato approached her on December 5th and told her that he didn't like the pin. So what, Paul? Man's opinion doesn't mean anything to women. I was just really shocked that a teacher especially would do that, Aragood told News 10. He's talking about the Women for Trump pin, and I said, that's fine, you don't have to like it. We can have our opinions. At which point, Aragood claimed Cato tried to forcibly remove the pin. He grabbed it, and I pulled, and I tried to push his hand away, and he grabbed my shoulder and just kind of put his hand there. And then he started pulling more and more, and I just started backing up, she said. Eventually winning the battle for the pin, the teacher then allegedly proceeded to pin it upside down on his own shirt, stating that it belonged that way. I just want him to know it's not okay to do that, said Aragood. I want this to be a learning experience for other teachers, and I'm not going to stop wearing my political stuff. The Mason School District is still investigating the incident and has promised to take appropriate action once their investigation is complete. I'm sure that this guy participated in some Red for Ed protest at some point, too. Aragood's mother, Cappy Aragood, told the news outlet that she has made a criminal assault and larceny report against the teacher. He had no right to put his hands on my child over a pin or anything else. She's right about that. The First Amendment gives everyone the right to express their freedom of speech. No one should get that upset about somebody wearing a political pin. I agree. But also, red hats. So it's also kind of funny. The girl gave the interview to News 10. She's wearing a MAGA hat. just super trolling everybody. So we'll continue to follow this report. And again, if it's authentic and the mom has filed a criminal complaint against the teacher, and if it happened, she's correct to do that. If that actually occurred, the teacher should be fired and have their license stripped. They should never be allowed to teach again because you can't assault a kid. And it is assault. You can't assault a kid just because you don't like something that they're wearing at school, whether you agree with it or disagree with it. That's not the appropriate action. So we'll continue to follow it just in case anything develops. But again, most of these end up being true, but we have had a couple of cases where these students were not exactly telling the truth. So I'm not accusing this girl of lying. I have no reason to doubt her at this point in time, especially given the criminal complaint that has been filed against him. If we find out that it's not been authentic, we will, of course, defend the teacher and roundly go after the girl and her mother. Although her mom would probably end up being an innocent victim in all of this, too, if the girl is not telling the truth. But I have no reason to doubt her at this point in time. Got more coming up. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
This is Michiana.
Breaking news and weather station. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. At 95.3 MNC.com. I'm Tom Lee in the MNC News Center, and among our top stories this afternoon, a worker lost his life in a construction zone after he was hit by a vehicle this morning in St. Joseph County. Police say it happened on State Road 841 between Udall and Osborne Road, and shut down the road for several hours. Neither the worker nor the driver's identity was released. They alcohol crashed. He is investigated. The South Bend toddler has been arrested for allegedly assaulting the bus driver. It was on December 6th that police were called in the 3600 block of Edison Road on a report that a bus driver had been assaulted, supposedly by 35-year-old Kenny Lee. According to police,
A father. Oh, I thought they said a toddler assaulted the bus driver. And that they arrested the toddler. I was like, oh, father. Okay. All right, folks, I'm going to be right back. I got to go use the little girl's room. He's not a white dude? All right. I'll look it up.
Today announcing plans to draft articles of impeachment against President Trump for abuse of power and obstruction of Congress. President dismissing potential impeachment as a witch hunt. But also announcing an agreement has been reached on a trade deal to replace NAFTA. Stocks ending the day lower on impeachment news and the USRC trade deal. The Dow 28 points, the S&P closing 3 lower with the Nasdaq dropping 6 points. America is listening to Fox News. Weather sponsored by the Frank Cake Restaurant in Niles, where there's a favorite for everyone. My favorite is the hamburger. My favorite is the hamburger. Yeah, your home comfort experts, heating specialists, first warning forecast.
Likely to next 2 showers in our forecast today, but not only evidence of life, but also stay with 20 as we head on today. Of course, I will see that possible low in the teens. And for Wednesday, 25 degrees for all flurries, a little bit of sunshine from time to time. And ABC is that interval morning in the west and the loss.
Is presented by CI Sky, your single source for personal protection. Visit the 1/3 Street in Goshen, Mishawaka, Barr, Albany, Beds, shotguns, rifles, accessories, and more. Warnings, this was a loved one.
Someone's trying to break into my home. Let's leave the front door. Notify the authorities. I'll stay on the line with you until they arrive. What could that do?
CI Sky is your single source for personal protection. Stop in today for the largest selection of handguns, AR rifles, ammunition, accessories, and personal protection solutions. Over 2,000 guns in stock today with the best prices guaranteed. CI Sky.
Well, now they're thinking somebody didn't steal the table, so. But it might just be an innocent mistake.
That's good, I guess.
Which would be good, yes, because that's a very weird thing to steal.
Maybe it's that warm, pleasant feeling you get. Maybe it's the ones you miss dearly. Wish you could hug just one more time. No matter where you go or what you do, build memories together this season. Happy holidays from Margarita.
Gangbusters. I need to get my hair did on Friday. Uh-oh. Time.com with a new article. Yermak, a top aide to Ukrainian President Zelensky, says that they never had the feeling that the U.S. aid and investigations were connected. Oh boy. Shame, shame, shame.
Hey guys, good news. The expensive little blue pill is now generic, which means the prescription medication that you need is super affordable.
Oh, I guess I got to send you a link. I don't think that I can. It'll be for 5 o'clock. It's not for right now.
What's John's extension, and can you mute, please?
Mute?
Them. I need to call John. And it's
Mute who?
your mic.
Got, okay. All right. Hold on, folks.
John's
Commercial electrical done right. This is Casey Hendrickson.
And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. Once again, I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. Phone number 574-2595-95.3. That is 2595-953. You can also send a text message to 45364. And please put MNC at the beginning of that message. This is exactly not the right day for this to happen, but Time Magazine has an exclusive story with Andrei Yermak. Now, he is a Ukrainian official. And again, this is an exclusive story at Time.com right now. Of course, we know that they released the impeachment stuff today. Since the start of the public impeachment hearings in Congress last month, Andrei Yermak, a top advisor to the president of Ukraine, that is Zelensky, has heard his name come up again and again in witness testimony. He took part in many of the events at the center of the impeachment inquiry and the 300-page report released last week by the inquiry mentions Yermak dozens of times. But in his first interview about those public hearings, Yermak has questioned the recollections of crucial witnesses in the impeachment inquiry into President Donald Trump's alleged abuse of his office for political gain. Quote, "Listen, I want to tell you straight," Yermak told Time in the interview on December 4th. Okay, this is December 4th. It's kind of interesting that this is coming out now. The first time that he has openly discussed his views of the public impeachment hearings. Of course, now, when I watch these shows on television, my name often comes up and I see people there whom I recognize, whom I met and know, he says. He's referring to witness testimony. That is their personal opinion, especially the positions they expressed while under oath. I have my own truth and I know what I know. The most crucial point at which Yermak's recollection contradicts the testimony of the inquiry's witnesses relates to a meeting in Warsaw on September 1st when the Ukrainian President Zelensky met with U.S. Vice President Pence. The meeting was part of an ongoing effort by the Zelensky administration to improve ties with the Trump administration. One of the American diplomats who attended that meeting, Gordon Sondland, and U.S. Ambassador to the European Union, testified before the inquiry last month that he pulled Yermak aside after the Warsaw meeting and delivered an important message. U.S. aid to Ukraine would probably not resume until Zelensky's government announced 2 investigations that could implicate President Trump's political rivals. I told Mr. Yermak that I believe that the resumption of the U.S. aid would likely not occur until Ukraine took some kind of action on the public statement that he had discussed for many weeks. That's what Sondland testified. Of course, Sondland also ended up being forced to kind of retract that and explain that a little bit later on in testimony, that he had no firsthand knowledge of any of that. He was just assuming and guessing on his own. This statement was allegedly intended to announce 2 investigations, one into the discredited claims that Ukraine helped Hillary Clinton's campaign in the 2016 presidential election. That is not discredited, by the way. The Ukrainians have actually convicted 2 people in courts for doing that. And another related to the work that Hunter Biden, the son of presidential candidate Joe Biden, did for Ukrainian gas company Burisma Holdings while his father was the U.S. vice president. Now, based on the testimony from Sondland and other witnesses, the final report from the House Intelligence Committee concluded last week that Sondland made this offer of a quid pro quo clear to Yermak that day in Warsaw. Following this meeting, Ambassador Sondland pulled aside President Zelensky's advisor, Mr. Yermak, to explain that the hold on security assistance was conditioned on the public announcement of the Burisma Biden and the 2016 interference investigations, the report states. And again, Sondland basically had to retract all of that under cross-examination later on in the day when he was giving his testimony, and had to admit that he basically made that all up on his own, and he had no indication that any of that was true. Okay? So Yermak also disputes what Sondland testified to. He says, Gordon and I were never alone together. He said, we bumped into each other in the hallway next to the escalator as I was walking out. He recalls that several members of the American and Ukrainian delegations were also nearby, as well as bodyguards and hotel staff, though he was not sure whether any of them heard his brief conversation with Sondland. Quote, and I remember everything is fine with the memory. We talked about how well the meeting went. That's all we talked about. That's what Yermak says. So Yermak is saying that Sondland never said anything that Sondland testified to say, in which Sondland was forced to admit later on under cross-examination at the hearing while he was under oath that he made all of that up anyway, and that he was coming to his own conclusions about the investigations, but that nobody had ever actually said anything. And eventually, when the president was kind of asked, what do you want from the Ukraine? The president said nothing. Okay. These comments cast doubt on an important moment at the impeachment inquiry's reconstruction of events, specifically the only known point at which the American official directly tells the Ukrainians about the link between U.S. aid and the announcement of specific investigations. And again, Sondland was doing this purely out of whole cloth, but now Yermak says it never even happened. He never even had that conversation with me. In a statement, Sondland's lawyer said Ambassador Sondland stands by his prior testimony, will not comment further. Yermak said no one from the congressional committees that are overseeing the impeachment inquiry have contacted him to seek his testimony, nor have any other U.S. officials. Well, of course, there's a reason that the Democrats don't want to talk to any of the Ukrainian officials about this, because the Ukrainian officials, all of them, the president, the foreign minister, now the president's aide, have all said, no, there was no quid pro quo. There were no conditions on aid. They did not ask us to investigate Biden for political purposes. There's none of that. So the reason that the Democrats don't want to interview any of the Ukrainians about this is because the Ukrainians have already publicly said that what the Democrats are claiming happened didn't happen. And this is yet another case where you have another individual whose name keeps coming up at the hearings as evidence. He's saying what they're saying about me isn't true, and yet they haven't come to me and asked me if any of this even happened. Isn't that interesting? This is in Time magazine today. So pretty interesting. This was posted at 10:33 a.m. today. The interview happened on December 4th. Here we are on the 10th. The impeachment stuff comes out today, and Time magazine releases this. Interesting timing, don't you think? Got more coming up. Newstalk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
We're on the Weather Watch 24 hours a day, on air and on your smartphone with weather text alerts.
Sorry, folks. I had to have a private conversation.
All makes and models of premium vehicles for every budget. Over 700 vehicles.
Yeah, I'm glad I was here. I was just in the meeting in the conference room.
Since 1954.
Oh, it's all good.
Okay.
Everything that makes you the greatest heroes on this earth or any other. Because that's what it will take to defeat our opponent.
This is their destiny.
Now go, serve your higher purpose.
The Flash, Arrow, Supergirl, Superman, Batwoman, the Legends.
Holy all-star squadron. I am elongated man. Ready to help kick butt.
Tonight on the CW, on night 3 of The Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Who are you?
All right, so now we're at 6 dead in Jersey.
What do you need from me?
To help save humanity.
It's time
Where's
to
that?
see what they're really
Jersey City.
Oh, okay.
find out.
So I've been in that meeting for like 2 hours.
Oh, man. Wow. Okay.
If it will be enough, the crossover event continues on a stunning new Flash tonight on the CW.
Starting tonight at 8, followed by ABC 57 News at 10, all on CW 25.
If you're worried that your old, unreliable furnace isn't going to make it through another cold weather, now is the time to call Bill's Heating.
Yeah, it's almost like they're a journalist, but imagine if they had released this article, a couple of days ago. Just saying. And while they were writing, they still said discredited reports that the Ukraine helped Hillary Clinton. You have to understand, we've got multiple Ukrainian officials that still say that they helped both sides of the election. We've got what's his bucket on tape saying it. And we have two people that have been tried and convicted in Ukrainian court of interfering on behalf of Hillary Clinton's campaign. So, over the Manafort thing. So this notion that it's been discredited that Ukrainian officials helped Hillary Clinton, it's not been discredited. It's absolute fact. Now, it may not have been as extensive as some people wanted to portray it, but it absolutely happened.
Today's news, traffic and weather on
95.3 MNC.
And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. Once again, I'm your host, Casey Hendrickson. Phone number 574-2595-953. That is 2595-953. So here we have Time Magazine with a new article out today. Okay, out today, which shows that the aide to the president of Ukraine says Sondland is lying about his conversation with me. He never said any of that crap to me. And we never, none of us in the Ukraine, none of us had any idea or inkling that that aid was tied to opening investigations. None of us. Okay. So, but again, it's interesting timing. This article is coming out. Now, you do wonder what would happen if they would have released the article a couple of days ago, because the interview happened on December 4th. It is now the 10th. Now, maybe it wouldn't have made much difference. Some people on the live stream are saying it probably wouldn't have made much difference. You're probably right. Okay, you're probably right, but you can't help but wonder, right? All right, 574-2595-953. Don't worry, this article, I've already got people going, can you post the article? It'll be in the Daily Show Prep. Go to theburningtruth.us. You should already be subscribed to my website anyway. Seriously, what's wrong with you people? Go there. It'll be in the Daily Show Prep after the show today. You can get the link to the article in Time Magazine where another Ukrainian official, one more, says that all of this notion of a quid pro quo or any of that, none of that is true. None of it is true. All right, 574-2595-953. Here's the latest on what happened in Jersey City. 6 people are now dead. That includes a police officer. They were killed in an hours-long standoff and shootout in Jersey City at a convenience store. It's basically, it's like a kosher small supermarket, like a neighborhood supermarket there in New Jersey. The shootings unfolded at a cemetery and the convenience store near the Sacred Heart School. Of the 6 people who died, one was a married 39-year-old police officer with 5 kids. He was the one that was shot in the shoulder at the cemetery and succumbed to his wounds later. The others killed include 2 of the 3 suspects in the case, as well as 3 civilians. The third suspect, described as 6-foot-tall black male wearing all black clothing, was in police custody. So the third suspect is alive and is now in custody. 2 suspects dead. The circumstances of the shootout remain uncertain, and the situation forced every public school in the Jersey City to lock down. The FBI is assisting the police there. Our thoughts and prayers are with the men and women of the Jersey City Police Department, especially with the officers shot during this standoff and with the residents and school children currently under lockdown. That is Governor Murphy in a statement. New Jersey Transit has suspended some light rail services and bus services in certain areas. Of course, on the Fox breaks, every half hour you have heard the gunshots ringing out. It was a pretty intense shootout for quite some time. And unfortunately, we've got 3 civilians and a police officer dead. 2 of the 3 suspects are also dead. And again, what the circumstances are, we still don't know. We heard it was an ambush. We heard it was a police operation gone wrong. We've heard it was a drug deal gone wrong. So we're still waiting for answers on the motivation for all of that stuff. Now, in the meantime, the story that I've had for a couple of days here, officers are getting shot more often in 2019, according to the National Police Fraternity. Police officers are getting shot more than 20% more often in 2019 than the year before. Now, 2018 was more than 2017. We covered that one pretty extensively, actually, because there's a bunch of libertarian websites that were trying to say being a police officer is super safe. in that people were lying about all of these officer shootings and ambushes and things like that happened after Ferguson. And those libertarian websites like Reason.com were all wrong. Police officers are getting shot more than 20% more often in 2019 than the years before, with 267 officers shot in the line of duty by December 1st this year. Again, that is according to the Fraternal Order of Police, which has 350,000 police membership, police members, excuse me. So the numbers are staggering, should concern every American, the FOP said in a tweet. There is an officer shot every 30 hours in the U.S. Violence towards men, women who protect our communities must end and should be condemned by all. The shootings both include fatal and non-fatal shootings. Over the past decade, deadly shootings of police officers have remained roughly level, averaging about 51 a year, with 45 shot dead. So far this year, with 45... It's not exactly the best writing in the world. Bear with me. Okay. Shootings of police officers have remained roughly level, averaging about 51 a year, with 45 shot dead so far this year, excluding one inadvertent shooting fatality, according to a tally run by Officers Down Memorial page. See, on October 2015, however, the FOP started to track non-fatal shootings too. We realized that we had a lot of information about officers who were shot and killed in the line of duty, but almost no information about officers who were shot and survived. And this was something back when we were having the police officers, I should say police officers being criticized by some libertarian publications is, spreading a rumor or a lie that they were being targeted, which of course ended up being totally true. They were using 2-year-old data, by the way, when they were writing those articles. They weren't wise enough to know that they were doing that. As they were doing it, they were saying that, it's pretty safe because only a few officers die every year from this. But medical advancements, body armor advancements, tactical adjustments, things like that, yeah, you might survive, but you're still wounded. You're still being targeted. There's still violence upon the officer. It's the same thing with the military. When they were trying to say that things were, remember when the anti-war crowd was saying that things were worse because soldiers were living instead of dying, but they were losing arms and legs? And of course, you go and you talk to those soldiers, and like, no, I'm pretty good that I'm alive. That's pretty awesome that I'm alive, where I would have died 10, 15 years ago. They were trying to make that a bad thing, when in fact it's a good thing. But it doesn't negate the fact that they were wounded or targeted. Okay. Using our own limited resources, we were able to compile raw numbers, which showed that even in years when the number of officers killed by gunfire had gone down, the number of officers shot had gone up each year. The stark reality is that advancements in medical science and anti-ballistic technology are making these events more survivable. Exactly, which is what I told you last year when we covered this. The FOP determined that 253 officers were shot in 2016 and 271 in 2017. In 2018, the number dropped to 251. This year, it's also close to a record high with still a month to go. So there you go. All right, to the phone lines we go. Frankie, welcome to the program.
Hey, how's it going, Casey?
It's going well. What's up?
Well, I have one question for you.
Uh-huh.
The question is, when the impeachments first started, it was because of quid pro quo and bribery. But how come it's now about obstruction and abuse of power?
Well, remember, bribery didn't happen for weeks after. So the quid pro quo thing happened, and then all of a sudden, when people asked Pelosi about it, she had to say bribery because it actually mentions bribery in the Constitution. But none of the reports have ever shown any bribery. So here's the thing. Somebody's lying to you when they keep changing the goalposts. They keep moving the goalposts, changing what their argument is. That's how you know they're lying to you. There's nothing in here that's criminal. It's that simple. And the Judiciary Committee is saying, well, he doesn't have to commit a crime to be impeached. Well, Article 2 says otherwise. Article 2 says the president can be impeached when they are convicted of bribery, high crimes, and misdemeanors. Not because they do things you don't like.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I just thought it was kind of funny. I haven't heard anybody talking about it.
No,
so.
You're 100% right. They keep changing the goalpost because they don't have any actual impeachable offenses here. So I got to roll, man. Appreciate the call. Thank you much. It's a good question, though. All right, 574-25-95-95-3. We'll play you that audio from the Attorney General coming up on Newstalk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
WTRC FM.
And HD1 and HD3.
Niles, South Bend, Elkhart.
Is audio working from your computer?
Nope.
Your top stories right now.
All right, so I need to.
Political madness. Lisa Brady.
I am going to. Can you copy in the chat here? Can you copy?
Charging the President
Or
of
no.
the United States.
Copy what?
J.
A link?
With committing
I'm going to need you to play
high crimes
something.
and misdemeanors.
Judiciary Committee Chairman Jerry Nadler says the president abused his power by pressuring Ukraine to pursue politically motivated investigations, then obstructed Congress by blocking witness testimony. White House Press Secretary Stephanie Grisham calls the charges baseless.
We're going to continue on with what we're doing. It's very, very easy to defend and communicate for a president who has done nothing wrong, so we don't need a full-blown war room, as have presidents in the past who
What
did.
file do I
perhaps
put
do
your
something
show
wrong.
audio in?
President holds a
That, like
rally
your
in
air check.
Pennsylvania tonight. About 300
I just put 'em in
Saudi Arabian aviation
my name,
students in the United
KCH.
States are now grounded.
Okay.
I just usually do it by hour.
Shooting at the Naval Air Station in Pensacola. That gunman who killed 3 people before he was killed was a Saudi
Oh,
student.
there we go.
Other Saudi students in Pensacola had already been restricted to the base.
They the-
as the investigation
can't.
continues.
Yeah, it says that you can't copy it.
That
Dang it.
lasted for several hours appears to be over.
You have a
in
way
New
for me to get a
Jersey.
message to you?
Prosecutors determined 6
Email
people
me.
dead, including a police officer, and all
Other than the old way of doing things.
Casey,
People
that's,
dressed in all black
why can't you do
began
that?
shooting, and there
This
was
is
an
the thing about it.
altercation with one of the police officers who we now know has died.
I want you to know that Carl stayed logged into the system and I did nothing.
Carl shouldn't have been logged in. The newsroom should have been logged in.
Well, I mean, he's logged into his social media.
Oh, okay. Well, good.
I'm just
No.
letting you know.
Good, because that's like, that joke is so old. Hey, did you see Governor Holcomb wants to ban in-home cell phones?
No.
Okay, well, it was part of his agenda, so you may want to look at that, because I'm thinking people might have opinions about that.
Why is my music playing?
I don't know.
More about the semi-crash this morning that resulted in the response from the Elkhart hazmat team. The Bristol Fire Department responded to the crash on State Road 120 between County Roads 17 and 19 around 7 a.m. The tandem semi was carrying hydrochloric acid when it went off the road and struck 2 trees. Traffic was backed up throughout the morning for the cleanup process, which included ensuring that no acid was able to leak into the St. Joseph River. One of the trees also fell into the road, affecting power lines and delaying the cleanup while crews removed it this afternoon with chainsaws. Police say that a person of interest in a Benton Harbor woman's disappearance is now behind bars. They still do not have any information on the whereabouts of
Tonight will be
30-year-old
the
Jessica
coldest
Gray,
night
who was
this week.
discovered missing
Partly
after a
cloud.
welfare check. She was last seen on December 1st. 38-year-old Willie Lark Jr. was arrested out of state on unrelated charges. Evidence at Gray's home indicates that she may have been shot in some sort of altercation. And Indiana's U.S. Senator Mike Braun hasn't changed his mind.
Braun has said for months he thinks impeachment efforts against President Trump are just sour grapes by Democrats still upset they lost the 2016 presidential election, and seems he still feels that way.
I was disappointed when they actually, after the Mueller report fell flat, tried to latch on to something else, and of course that's playing out now.
Democrats are charging President Trump with obstruction of Congress and abuse of power, stemming from his request that Ukraine investigate the family of political rival Joe Biden in exchange for military aid.
95.3 MNC's John Zimmerman reporting.
Weather sponsored by the Prime Table Restaurant, where kids love to go. So Mom and Dad bring us to the Prime Table.
Now, your home comfort experts, heating specialists, first warning forecast.
Tonight will be the coldest night this week. Partly cloudy to even mostly clear. Lows fall into the mid to lower teens. Partly cloudy on Wednesday. Highs struggle to get back to 25. We'll see a little bit of
Don't
sunshine.
know, Tracy.
Falling back into the
Heard
mid-teens
multiple rumors
Wednesday
about
night. In the ABC
who they were
57
or why it
First Warning
happened. We're still
Neighborhood
waiting.
Weather Center. I'm Chief Meteorologist.
Casey, is this audio clean, this YouTube video?
Yeah, it's just an interview with Barr.
Okay, but I mean, there's like no foul language.
No.
Allow me to introduce you to
Listen to all of it, right?
Maybe not the entire thing, no.
Okay. All right, well, it's NBC News, so I'm
That's why I figured it'd be okay.
all right, okay.
I didn't get it from like Joe Schmo's website.
Worst for your vehicle. While you're warm and toasty and driving down the road, the salt, sludge, and snow is covering your car, building up ice blocks in your wheel well. But
make winter any worse than it is. Make regular visits to one of the finest exterior auto washes in Parkwood Auto Spa.
UMCA, I think, is good timing for Trump.
Road and Mishawaka off Edison Road. Open 7:30 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. 7 days a week. And this holiday season is a perfect time to take advantage. Big savings are available with discount coupon books priced at buy 5 washes, get 3 free. Enough for you to have some for yourself and all those people on your list. Visit one of their locations or go to ParkwoodAutoSpa.com to purchase yours today and get your shopping done. And while you're there, download their new app with new and exciting things coming in the new year. Keep your car happy and clean this holiday season with Parkwood Auto Spa's buy 5, get 3 discount books. Good at both of their locations in South Bend and Mishawaka. Come as you are.
Do I have time to run upstairs and? Well,
I don't know. Do you?
Okay,
You're
well, let me
staring
ask
at the
this
system.
question. I didn't know I'd be doing this, so I'm going to ask. Do I have time after you start your hour to run upstairs and get my computer and come back down before you have to play your audio?
Sure.
Are you sure?
I will tell people how to win awesome things, John.
Okay, thank you. All right. Okay, because I'm going to do that then. I'm going to run upstairs, grab my computer, and come back down.
Okay.
So that way I can continue to get my work done while doing you this enormous favor.
Me? The enormous favor? Okay. Oh, by the way,
Yes.
David Harker was on the stream yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like him.
Yeah, he's hanging out.
Nice guy. Super nice guy.
He's going to check his paperwork and see if he can come on Fridays and do weather reports.
Good.
I told him to make sure he can legally do it.
We got that covered already. So, yeah.
Michiana's News Channel, your breaking news and weather station.
And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's News Channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. Phone number 574-2595, 95.3. That is 2595953. You can also send a text message to 45364. Please put MNC at the beginning of that message. All right, so text message. Are you so dumb not to realize they would never bite the hand that feeds them? I am for Trump, but Ukrainian officials will go where the gold is. None of that makes sense. I mean, that the tweet or the text message, it doesn't make any sense. So here's the thing. Is the Ukraine known for corruption? Absolutely, 100%. That doesn't mean that you don't investigate where their government officials have accused people of criminal activity. And remember, the standard has set. If anybody in Russia, in the Ukraine, or what have you, if anybody goes ahead and says that so-and-so has committed a crime, and this happened to Trump, that we need to investigate it. That has been the excuse and the argument for this entire thing going back to the origins of the dossier. So if they go back and they say all of these things, all right, fine. We have to investigate. Cool. So you do the investigation, but you have to do the investigation lawfully. You have to do the investigation legally, and you have to do the investigation. I know that was redundant, but it was for a reason. And you have to do the investigation in good faith. And what the FBI demonstrated is that they didn't do it in good faith. And the IG report says that. The previous IG report made that crystal clear. And I think that when Durham's report comes out, that is going to be further highlighted, especially now that we have an FBI lawyer who is being criminally indicted and investigated. So when you look at this notion of whether or not something needs to be investigated, if there's an accusation and there is any bit of evidence whatsoever that the accusation might be somewhat valid, I think you have to look into it. I think that makes perfect sense. So in a sense, I would agree with the Horowitz report in that the president of the United States, when he was a candidate, members of his campaign were accused of doing some things that were potentially illegal, and the FBI had to look at it. And if the FBI had just done that, instead of making this very political, it wouldn't have been a big deal. You got to understand, too, that you have had for many years now, not just recently, but for many years, you have had people accuse Hunter Biden and Joe Biden, his dad, the vice president of the United States at the time, of breaking the law. And you have to look at that as well. Doesn't mean that they're guilty. I've said this numerous times. I don't know that Joe Biden or Hunter Biden have broken any laws, okay? I can tell you that with them saying that Trump violated a quid pro quo, which doesn't exist, if that was illegal, then so was Joe Biden withholding $1 billion in aid. You can't have it both ways. Either it's illegal or it's not, okay? So if Joe Biden can do it, then Trump would be able to do it too, even though there's no evidence that Trump actually did it. We have evidence that Joe Biden did it. So having that discrepancy there with people saying that one is illegal and one is not when it's the same situation doesn't make a lot of sense. But you look at it. Like I said, I don't know that Hunter Biden is innocent or guilty of anything. I have no clue. What I can tell you, based on the evidence that we have, all of the people involved directly with that phone call, with the Trump administration, with the Zelensky administration, literally every person involved directly in what happened says there was nothing inappropriate, there was nothing illegal, there was no quid pro quo, there was no politically motivated seeking out of any investigations. None of that happened. Literally everyone in the Trump administration and the Zelensky administration who were on that phone call or directly responsible for all of that, all of them have said that, okay? The only people who have said there was something different are people who didn't hear the call, were not in the room, didn't have any direct knowledge of anything that happened, and it was all based on rumor and hearsay. So you're going to have to pick and choose here. Either you're going to take all of the people involved saying there was nothing inappropriate and the timeline, which supports Trump's version of events, by the way, because the Ukrainians didn't even find out about the aid until way later. Okay. They didn't find out about the aid being withheld at all until way later. So it couldn't have been a quid pro quo. Then you have them reopening an investigation before that phone call even happened into Burisma Holdings. All right. So you also have to look at the court cases that have been taking place in Ukraine. You have to look at the indictments and the things like that that have been coming down. All of those things completely shatter this narrative that really Trump is guilty, but the Ukrainians are just going along to get along because they don't want to lose their guy in Washington, D.C. None of that. That text doesn't make sense. Based on the evidence, the timeline, and everybody involved directly with what happened, your text doesn't make sense. All right, 574-25-95-95-3. That is 2595-953. Can also send a text message to 45364. Please put MNC at the beginning of that message. And also wanted to point out that, Attorney General Barr, he did give an interview with NBC News. And Attorney General Barr and the U.S. Attorney Durham, they've made it crystal clear that they are in conflict with the findings of some of what Horowitz have found. Now, Representative Mark Meadows, he has said that the Horowitz report actually exceeded his expectations. And the reason that he exceeded his expectations is because while Horowitz can't come to those political conclusions because he wants to keep his job, he made it crystal clear that 17 times the FBI basically broke the law or left exculpatory information out in order to pursue a FISA warrant, which could be very criminal, which is why Durham is like, yeah, no, we totally disagree. We have this. Anyway, to the phone lines we go. Tony, welcome to the program.
Wow, this is the fastest I've ever got on.
You're welcome. What's up?
Excuse me. I just swallowed my spit wrong.
Okay. Put that on the highlight reel, John. Go for it. All right.
Thank you.
What's on your mind?
All right, sir. All right. President Obama did the same thing, I think, in a quid pro quo with the president of Russia when he was on TV or on the mic when he thought he wasn't on,
the hot mic
saying, just wait till after the election. And you probably have said this and talked about it, but let me know. Am I right or wrong? Was that a quid pro quo?
Yeah, I mean, kind of. But see, here's the thing. Okay, let me kind of break down. So quid pro quo is not illegal. The president of the United States has all the authority in the world to say, if you guys don't do something, we're not going to give you any aid. All right?
Okay.
Which is why I said what Joe Biden did likely wasn't illegal, but the only thing that could make it potentially criminal is if he was protecting his son, if his son was a target of that investigation. Then you might have a problem, okay? But that has to be looked at. The real question is, was Joe Biden doing that as an official government policy with the Obama administration, or was he protecting his kid who might have been doing something wrong? That's what has to be looked at.
They can come back and say, well, this was under the Obama administration. It was an official phone call, and then he's free and clear.
Yeah, kind of. Quid pro quo is not illegal. What they're trying to say is that Donald Trump is only doing this quid pro quo thing, which there's no evidence of him doing, because Joe Biden is a political opponent. So they're saying that Donald Trump is purely doing this because Joe Biden is a political opponent. Now, what that does, though, in spite of there being no evidence of any of that, what that does is it says, if you do something wrong that may warrant an investigation, okay, you can be absolved of being investigated so long as you announce that you're running for president. That doesn't make any sense. So when they're out there saying that Trump is just going after a political opponent, these accusations against Hunter Biden and Joe Biden predate Trump being in this race and predate Biden being in this race. So you would basically have remember, the Ukrainians have accused, whether they're telling the truth or not, I don't know. The Ukrainians have accused Joe Biden of getting over $600,000 in direct payments. Joe Biden. That's a crime.
Yes.
That has to at least be looked at, okay? If it's not true, it's not true, and he gets exonerated. If it is true, that's a problem. But it has to be looked at. And this notion that he can announce that he's running for president and be absolved of those, years-old accusations doesn't make any sense.
Well, I heard on Fox News they were talking earlier about, well, maybe President Trump should just, after the Senate votes against this and that, is just kind of let it go away and that. I think the president should really go after them, or at least let them know he's going after them and see how it all turns out. And the way, maybe if he does that tonight at this rally he's having, and he says, I'm going after these guys, and I've got 5 guys that are people that are going to go to jail, maybe they'll start thinking about it. And maybe this whole vote on impeachment, they'll get enough Democrats to say, no, I'm not going to mess with this.
Well, and I don't think he should let it go either, because what we've had generations of people letting it go, and that's how we got the swamp. And so I hope that he doesn't. He let it go on Hillary. I wish he didn't. I understand why.
John McCain.
Yeah, I understand why he did, but I wish he wouldn't. And look, I think if he gets reelected, he's probably going to go, full bore on this. I would hope anyway that he would go full bore on it. But at this point, he's just trying to do his job, and he's being sidetracked with all of this stuff. But I wish he would go nuclear on all of this, because I want all these people exposed, and I want the ones who do things inappropriate, at the very least, to resign and not be in government anymore. That's what I want. Hey, I got to run, man, but I appreciate the call.
Okay, thank you.
You take care. All right, we'll play you the William Barr audio coming up. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's News Channel.
Casey Hendrickson.
News Talk 95.3, Michiana's News Channel.
Your breaking news and weather station.
Weather served up by the Prime Table in Niles. 26 years of exceptional tremendous service and great people. Visit Prime Table today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner.
Now, your home comfort experts, heating specialists 5-day forecast.
Wednesday is the coldest day.
Oh, hi, Dave.
Mid-20s, then falling
Oh, Brian, I'm sorry. Hey, it's John. That's okay. It's John, and I've been up for 12 hours. It's John at 95.3 MNC calling. Hey, I sent you a script. Would you be able to voice it? It's the Governor Holcomb wanting to ban handheld cell phone devices.
Sunday, mostly cloudy and colder with highs in the upper.
Yeah, I don't need it real quick. We're going to use it in the morning. And then would you like me to voice it for you guys?
Neighborhood Weather Center. I'm Chief Meteorologist Tom.
It's 95.3 MNC's 12 Days of Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
Once again this year, Santa's sleigh is over.
Yeah, I can do it, but here's the thing. I'm running the talk show, so I'm not going to be able to do it until the talk show ends at 5:50. Is that okay? Oh, okay, great. Yeah, and same here, but I promise I will not forget. So, okay, all right. I'll voice it and send it to you guys, and then if you can send me yours when you get a chance, that'd be great.
Everything will make sense.
Okay, thank you, Brian. All right, bye-bye.
And which Brian was that?
Brian Davis.
I don't know if I have his contact. I'm trying to think.
You don't. He's brand new.
Is he? Okay.
Yeah, so do I. I accidentally called him David.
Is he his handler?
Ignore him. It's his first crossover.
That's his agent's name. Oh, hey, you have to do a Z-Bar. Did you do a Z-Bar?
I have not done a Z-Bar yet.
And you got Perbaco here, too.
Z-Bar and Perbaco.
Well, hop on it, Cassidy.
You gotta tell me about him, John.
Well,
I don't have him.
I told you about Perbaco right now. It's not even, it's about to hit.
Okay, so you told me about Z-Bar and Perbaco right now. So I will do them.
And then Z-Bar, that was on Joe's list here. Joe's handwriting.
I'm just saying he didn't tell me. He probably wrote it down and then that happens. So you got it, man.
Well, I'll clean up your messes.
My messes. Yeah, they're all my messes, John. Every one of them. Do you have the audio ready to go?
Yes. I'm able to answer your calls, run and get my computer on an entirely different floor from the
I had
studio,
to make sure.
and queue up your audio.
And tell me about my commercial schedule.
And tell you about your commercial. And call Wowo to ask them to voice the story for us. I've done more in the last 20 minutes than I've done all afternoon. I've been in the meeting.
Yeah,
so when
they
I went
do
to
that.
this meeting,
I know.
Nobody was dead. Well, I think the police officer was injured. That was it. Like,
Well, yeah, we had
this whole big thing.
we had conflicting reports for a while on whether or not he died or not.
Oh, God, that's horrible.
Yeah.
What is this? Stuff happened.
And then New Zealand, this volcano.
Oh my God! Yeah.
Smokes.
And then
They're
there
at
were like
6
50
dead now.
people from a cruise ship on the volcano when it blew up.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Yeah, that's the latest today. There were like 50 people from a cruise ship. I think 9 Americans among the 50 on the island on the volcano.
That
when it blew.
is crazy.
You have to have all the financial professionals in your life collaborating together. At Corhorn Financial Group, we've got the CPAs, certified financial planners, and the certified.
I know. It's like totally insane.
It's been a busy week.
All right. Yes, I got your audio ready to go.
Most people have at least 5 different financial professionals that they need to meet with, and those 5 financial professionals.
Thank you, Brian. Appreciate it.
All of those professionals are on one team in one place, and our customers come to Corhorn Finance Group for that integrated advice, where all of those professionals work together to help you reach your.
Yeah, I agree with you, Alex. Drag it out. That's what I said at Noise when they at the time that week leading up to Noise, they had that one poll that showed that most people wanted impeachment to go forward. And I had to remind everybody, yeah, but a lot of those people are Trump supporters. Because if impeachment goes forward, they already know what it's going to show. So we've got enough evidence.
We look forward to the new year and continuing to provide you and your loved ones with handmade chocolates and gifts. Is that someone special in your life have a sweet tooth? Give them one.
Not going to lie, John. I would go to work at Fox News just to meet her.
Oh, yeah.
Just to be in the general vicinity of her. I would work there. Who, Dana?
Oh, I guess it doesn't matter.
And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. Once again, I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. I got to tell you about Z-Bar of South Bend. So, went car shopping yesterday, just a little bit, just poking around, just looking at possible upgrade. Nothing necessary per se, just something, maybe it's a little bit better in the snow, has more storage. And I happen to notice there's a whole lot of vehicles out there that have never had their undercoating done. Have never been protected from the rust. And do you know what I noticed on all of those vehicles, ladies and gentlemen? Lots of holes and rust. That's what I've noticed, which of course hurts the resale value of your vehicle. Or you could be unlucky like me. The last vehicle that we had literally snapped in half and we had to junk it, in spite of the fact that the engine was good, transmission was good, but the cost of putting a chassis on it was more than the cost of a new vehicle, so it didn't make any sense to do that. So the vehicle's trashed, simply because the frame snapped in half because it had never been properly treated for rust. Go to Z-Bar of South Bend. Get your rust taken care of. If you have rust on your vehicle, they can take care of that. They can fix that and then get your undercoating put on so you don't get any rust. That is going to save you a ton of money down the line, a ton of maintenance problems, improve the reliability of your vehicle and the longevity of your vehicle, And, of course, it's resale value. If somebody comes out there and sees that your vehicle has been maintained and doesn't have any rust or major structural problems, they are more likely to give you a lot more money when you sell that vehicle again. Go to Z-Bart of South Bend. They've got gift cards available. If you want to buy somebody a dollar amount or a specific service, you can do that at Z-Bart of South Bend. When you go to Z-Bart of South Bend, of course, let them know that I sent you. But it is time to prepare your vehicle for the winter months at Z-Bart of South Bend. John, would you do me a favor and cue up the audio of the Attorney General? He's talking with NBC News about everything involved in this Horowitz report. Go ahead and cue that.
Mr. Attorney General, why do you say that the FBI opened the investigation of the Trump campaign on the thinnest of suspicions?
Well, I'm glad to get into the issue of predication, but let me just start out by saying that I think you have to put this in context. I think the heart of the IG's report really focused on how the investigation was conducted once it got going, and that is especially the very serious abuses of FISA that occurred, much of which has been, in my view, not accurately reported by the press over the last day. But in one area, I do disagree with the IG, and that was whether there was sufficient predication to open a full-blown counterintelligence investigation, specifically using the techniques that they did to collect intelligence about the Trump campaign.
Well, as a policy matter, why not open an investigation on a thin pretext? I guess on the one hand, you could say it's a presidential campaign, it's very sensitive, you need better evidence. On the other hand, you could say it's a presidential campaign. We have to be very careful. There could be a threat to our political process.
Well, I think probably from a civil liberties standpoint, the greatest danger to our free system is that the incumbent government use the apparatus of the state, principally the law enforcement agencies and the intelligence agencies, both to spy on political opponents, but also to use them in a way that could affect the outcome of the election. As far as I'm aware, this is the first time in history that this has been done to a presidential campaign, the use of these counterintelligence techniques against a presidential campaign. And we have to remember that in today's world, presidential campaigns are frequently in contact with foreign persons. And indeed, in most campaigns, there are signs of illegal foreign money coming in. And we don't automatically assume that the campaigns are nefarious and traitors and acting in league with foreign powers. There has to be some basis before we use these very potent powers in our core First Amendment activity. And here, I felt this was very flimsy. Basically, I think the department has a rule of reason, which is at the end of the day, is what you're relying on sufficiently powerful to justify the techniques you're using? And the question there is, how strong is the evidence? How sensitive is the activity you're looking at? And what are the alternatives? And I think when you step back here and say, what was this all based on? It's not sufficient. Remember, there was and never has been any evidence of collusion, and yet this campaign and the president's administration has been dominated by this investigation into what turns out to be completely baseless.
So there you go. There's the Attorney General. He's kind of laying it out. He went into greater details in other portions of the interview, kind of laying out what his problems were and thinly, based. But as we have to point out, Horowitz's report showed 17 times that the FBI either withheld exculpatory information, violated procedure, or made serious and egregious errors. So you start looking at the law and what has to be applied when you go into a FISA court to make a request. It is clear that the FBI violated that law. Now, the question has always been, did the FBI do this intentionally, or were they deceived by Fusion GPS and this dossier and then did it unwittingly? We know for a fact now, since the FBI knew January 2017 that the dossier was garbage, we know beyond the shadow of a doubt, with all of the evidence that's been presented, we know that the FBI knew that the dossier was not credible, and yet that was the primary reason they went into the FISA court and got those warrants. and they left out intentionally exculpatory information. They left out information that Carter Page had worked with the government to capture spies in the past and that he was not a Russian asset. They left all of that out to deceive the FISA court into this case being more credible than it really was. That's what the Attorney General is talking about. And that's where Durham says, oh boy, wait till you get a load of my report. Because he's already gotten one person to be indicted here. And he is going to continue to bring more and more people, I think. Now, the question is, how bad is it going to get? Will the big actors really get nabbed in this thing? And a lot of you, understandably, don't have a ton of faith in that. Tim, welcome to the program. Good afternoon.
Yeah, I was wondering about Senator Graham and Mitch McConnell. Are they going to squash a trial in the Senate and just throw out the impeachment, or are they going to bring in some witnesses and kind of give us a little?
I'm not exactly sure of their strategy yet, but what I am hearing is that they're not going to kill it on arrival, that they are going to use it as an opportunity to go ahead and call witnesses and expose some of the stuff that happened in the House side of things, which is why the House is saying that Schiff is not going to testify, which makes no sense. He should be the first witness anyway. But yeah, we'll have to see ultimately what that strategy is if it gets to that point. It still has to get to that point, and it hasn't yet. So when it gets there, they'll devise their strategy on how this is going to go. But regardless, the president's not going to be impeached. It's not going to happen. So all right, I got to roll. Tim, appreciate the call. Thank you very much. We got more coming up. Newstalk 95.3, Michiana's News Channel.
This is Michiana's breaking news and weather station.
MNC. Newstalk 95.3.
Oh,
yeah. 95.3 MNC.com.
I'm Tommy Lee in the MNC News Center, and among our top stories this afternoon, a worker lost his life in a construction zone after he was hit by a vehicle this morning in St. Joseph County. Police say it happened on State Road 931 between New Road and Osborne Road, and it shut down the road for several hours. Neither the worker nor the driver's identity have been released. The fatal alcohol crash team is investigating.
Trying to get Robertson on. So we're going back and forth on scheduling with that right now.
Hey, can I record something real quick?
Yup.
You sure that's not going to interfere with what you're doing?
Nope.
Okay. All right. Test 1 2 1 2. Hopefully I'm not going over the air. 1 2. Governor Holcomb threw his support behind both issues in announcing the agenda for the 2020 legislative session. He's also endorsing rolling back a new requirement that teachers must log 15 hours of professional development on the needs of local employers. Indiana law currently bans texting while driving, but officials say that that's been proven unenforceable. Holcomb is backing a prohibition on the use of any handheld communication device while driving. John Simney, WOWO News. All right. Thanks, Casey. You're my hero.
Damn right. Brian says he misses Bill O'Reilly on Fox. Well, luckily you have Bill O'Reilly right here in like 10 minutes.
We miss Bill O'Reilly on Fox, too.
Governor Holcomb threw his support behind both issues. In announcing the agenda for the 2020 legislative session. He's also endorsing rolling back a new requirement that teachers must log 15 hours of professional development on the needs of local employers.
Today's Tuesday.
Indiana law currently bans texting while driving, but officials say that that's been proven unenforceable.
So I don't think I'll be at Ferbaco tonight. I think I will be at Ferbaco tomorrow.
Holcomb is backing a
What?
Talking to the audience. Ferbaco. I'll be there tomorrow.
Don't forget, you got a live spot.
I've got it up and ready to go.
prohibition on the use of any handheld communication. Driving.
50-car pileup. Look at that in Iowa.
Where?
I-80 in Iowa.
Oh, where at in Iowa?
I-80 in Iowa.
I know that. That I-80 runs through the entire state.
I know. It doesn't say where.
Well, see?
I'm looking at the news.
I'm depending on you to inform me on my drive home.
Oh, there it is.
Where?
I-80 in Iowa.
Casey, stop it. You're killing me here. I just want to know if it's by my mom's house.
I don't know. They don't have an exit there.
Not that she lives on the highway.
Holy crap! There's some nasty ones too. Cars are like chopped in half on that thing. Jeebus.
You are Mr. Uninformed.
That's what I get for getting my news from ABC. But why is ABC on right there?
I don't know. I wanted to know, like, what city or what, like Des Moines, Davenport, Sioux City. I mean, like, where?
This is the Fox Business Report.
Stocks closing lower as investors await concrete news as to whether a new round of U.S. tariffs on Chinese goods will take effect on Sunday. With the Dow falling 28 points, the Nasdaq down 6, S&P 500 down 3.
I mean, it's not that I think my mom was in the pileup. She can't drive. I mean, I'd be worried about her climbing behind the wheel on a sunny day.
I'm trying to find out for you.
I bet you if you Google 50-car pileup Iowa, it'll tell you.
That's exactly what I am doing. And I'm on my third source that isn't saying I-80 in Iowa. Between Altoona...
Okay, I don't care.
Okay. Between Altoona and the intersection of I-35 and 235.
But do you know who's got a killer tuna sandwich? Is Jimmy John's. I'm serious. I'm being totally serious.
I have had their tuna sandwich once, and I'm just not a big fan of Jimmy John's sandwiches.
What?
I don't like cold sandwiches.
Whoa, stop. Hello.
Yeah, it's nothing against them. I just don't like cold sandwiches.
Whoa.
But they do have a new Italian meat one that I do like. I enjoy that one.
Yeah,
yes.
I've had it. It's awesome.
That I could go there on a regular basis and eat that one sandwich. I'm just not a cold sandwich guy.
You
I
know
like
what
hot
does
sandwiches.
nothing for me? Warm drinks. Like, which is why I've never had coffee. I was never a hot chocolate fan when I was a kid.
I'm not a big hot cocoa fan.
I could set it aside. I'm just not into that.
I'm not either. I love my coffee.
Yeah.
Very rarely for teas, but have to be specific teas. But
no, not me. No, I was never one for warm, and never been a big soup guy unless I'm sick, and then I could use some chicken soup.
Yeah,
because that usually helps me out. I do like broccoli cheddar.
Gross.
But
that explains a lot, actually.
Whoa, hang on. Whoa, are you bullying me?
Broccoli cheddar.
Are you bullying me? Is that like a remark?
Yes, that was a remark.
I'm calling HR.
That was a remark.
So what's wrong with people who like broccoli cheddar?
They get spiky hair, John. That's what happens. Makes your hair stand up. You know why? Because broccoli's poison.
Hey, Casey, born this way. Born this way. All right? I think I'm going to go switch.
Oh, legitimate question.
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to figure out how I approach this.
Uh-oh.
So, new podcast that's going to be launching here this next year, Just the Tip.
Yeah.
Ron cut my intro.
Just the Tip?
Yeah, it's called Just the Tip with Casey
Okay,
Henderson.
well, let's talk about it later.
Yeah, so...
Right. Let's talk about it later.
I wanted to mention it to you before you got at it because I keep forgetting when you come in.
Later.
I'm just letting you know. So, before we leave.
What's it about? Just the Tip.
It's about...
Is this like a sex thing?
No.
Okay.
Not at all. Not at all. I might even have the intro that I can play for you.
Okay.
Because it really is so good, but I wanted to...
All right, because you know...
run it by everybody, and I want to talk to you before I talk with Steph.
I will tell you it will probably not fly, because everything else is covered.
I figured as much, but I wanted to check.
Okay. Hey, but you know what? We have other voices.
No, I know.
Like, I bet you Mark McGill voices.
No. No. We have other voices.
Hey, what about
Cluck would...
Or Brooklyn?
No. Cluck would be the...
Cluck.
Would be the other option.
That's great.
When you hear it, you'll understand.
Yes.
So
we love Cluck.
Yeah. Casey Hendrickson, life is meaningless without coffee. 100% agree with you.
Hey, life is meaningless without broccoli cheddar.
Yeah.
And you know what?
John has admitted that his life has no meaning, though, and that's because he's never had coffee.
I'm calling HR. Soon.
I wish that went out on the live stream. I really do. That was funny. That was a good line. Anyway, 574-25-95-95-3. That is 2595953. I know, no inside jokes, but sorry. We were having a fun little debate here on whether or not coffee was coffee gave life meaning and whether or not broccoli cheddar soup was acceptable to consume at all. So that's the type of entertainment that you get if you watch the live stream on youtube.com/Casey the Host or twitch.tv/Casey the Host. And today is December 10th. The Great Purge on YouTube has started, but somehow yours truly has been spared on YouTube. But I was once again suspended on Twitter. So my brand new Twitter account that's been up for less than a week, it was suspended. It is back up and running now. The only thing that they gave me was that they said that I might be a robot, which makes absolutely no sense. I've been super polite on Twitter since I've gotten back on Twitter, and I haven't posted anything controversial at all. And they still tagged me. So I'm not holding out hope that I'm going to get verified. We'll find out what ends up happening. Anyway, I got to tell you about Bruno's Per Baco on County Road 16 in Elkhart, Indiana. So today's Tuesday, which means it's half off wood-fired pizzas at Bruno's Per Baco. Of course, famous for their pizza, and it's fantastic. In fact, the last time we were there, my wife got a margarita pizza again. I don't know what her deal is with it, but she keeps getting it over and over again. And that's kind of like her go-to meal at Bruno's Per Baco. So Bruno's Per Baco is the Italian restaurant side of things. Then you have the Bruno's pizza chain, which is attached to it. But the pizza you get in Bruno's Per Baco is wood-fired pizza. It's different than the other Bruno's, and it is absolutely fantastic and amazing. And it's half off today. Perfect day to take the kids to go get a great pizza at a nice restaurant, have an adult beverage maybe, responsibly, of course. But it's just a fantastic place. Service is great. The bartenders are top-notch, and ownership is just fantastic. Again, Bruno's Per Baco on County Road 16 in Elkhart. Again, big plate Italian food where size does matter. Let Bruno's Per Baco know that I sent you, please. Because we are in a competition. They let this slip a couple of weeks ago. We're in a competition with another radio station to see who sends them more people. Last I heard, we were dominating, but still, you know me, I like to really pound people into the dirt. So go to Bruno's Per Baco and let them know that you're there because you listen to this show. You can also go to brunosperbaco.com, make reservations, and order catering. All right, 574-25-95-95-3. That is 2595-953. Text message rolling in. Casey, when Schiff doesn't testify, they should hold him in contempt of the Senate. Yeah, I don't know what the rules are for that, but I should, it would be interesting to see what happens here. Again, I've got to get into the rules and all of that stuff. I don't know how that all plays out, but Casey, big shocker. Fox is just saying to let it go. Roger Ailes. Okay, Roger Ailes wouldn't protect current members. Look, okay, there is an argument for Trump to let it go. All right, there really is. There's an argument, and it is get past all of this crap so he can actually do the job that he was elected to do. All right, so there's an argument for that. I reject it because I'm sick and tired of the same cycle over and over and over and over again happening. I want these people gone. Again, this goes back to why was Trump elected? Trump was elected because he is a missile going in there, blowing everything up, and jacking up the establishment. That's what he is there to do. That's why people put him in office. So he needs to do that. Yes, he's been a good president. Yes, I would like him to continue to be a good president, but I really want him to hold these people accountable. That's what I want him to do. So I disagree with everybody's conventional wisdom that he should let it go. I understand where they're coming from for that. But at this point in time, I think the let's play nice option is completely off of the table. We've got more coming up. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Casey Hendrickson.
News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Sorry, folks. Private conversation. Lots of private conversations today. Oh, where is that Bloomberg on? Hold on. I got this new Bloomberg stuff. There we go. I can end the show on this. What do I have? 30 seconds?
Not even that.
All right. Let's close this show out.
Did you do your live for Baco spot?
I just did it.
I know. I only said that because
Jesus.
I knew you'd freak out on me, and you did. You didn't disappoint. It was like entertainment for me.
Damn right. And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. You know what's interesting about Bloomberg is, so Bloomberg, right, he jumps into the race, and then the publication Bloomberg says, well, we're not allowed to say anything bad about Bloomberg. So we're going to extend that policy to all of the Democrats. Now, we're going to continue investigating and writing a bunch of things about Republicans and President Trump. We're not going to do it about any Democrat in the race, which is, of course, hugely problematic and a perfect illustration of what we mean when we say fake news. Bloomberg was asked about this because some of his employees have said that they want this lifted. The Bloomberg writers actually want to be able to write about everybody like they're supposed to. And Bloomberg had a response in an interview. He was asked about it on CBS This Morning with Gayle King. And he said, with your paycheck comes some restrictions and responsibilities. So when she asked, like, some of your employees really don't want to be, muzzled when talking about you or other Democratic candidates. And he's like, well, you know what? I pay your paycheck, so you're just going to have to deal with it. Like I said, if they had extended it to everybody in politics, that would have been one thing, but they didn't. They just extended it to political biases. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching and listening. I appreciate it. It is now time for the O'Reilly Update with MNC's Bill O'Reilly.
Tuesday, December 10th, 2019. You are listening to the O'Reilly Update. Here's what's happening across our nation. Democrats.
Ooh, Model 3 flew into two-part cars, huh? Nice. Yeah, what are we going to get the audience for Christmas? Other than the 12 days of Christmas that we have at 953mnc.com right now. We do have that. All right. Any last comments, questions, anything like that before we get out of here?
I don't see where he had hour 1 in here that he taped, but I have hour 2 and hour 3.
Okay. I'll look for it, and maybe he didn't have it. I'll ask. I'll just ask him tomorrow.
Okay.
We'll just, it's fine. I won't stress about it. Not a problem.
Oh God. Did you see that Santa's?
Yes,
I know.
I want that sweater so bad.
I told Josh was doing the sports this morning. I said I literally.
I
said in between your sports breaks, you need to go to Walmart and buy me that sweater.
I came so close to posting about it and saying that I knew exactly which sweater I wanted. That is an hysterical sweater, and shame on people for being butthurt about
it. But I gotta think that the Mishawaka Walmart is 8 steps behind the nation. So maybe they're still there.
Let's see. All right, so
well, if you go online, they're not going to have it.
Well, hold on.
But I gotta think it's in the store.
Walmart Santa sweater. Somebody has to have it, though. So the real question is, it was Walmart Canada.
Canada?
Oh, Walmart. Okay. Well, yes, it's Walmart Canada.
Well, they gotta have him here.
I love that sweater.
I do too.
Hi, Tracy.
I want one so bad. And I don't do drugs.
No, I don't either, but I think it's hysterical.
Yeah.
I also love the Baby Yoda meme where where it's Baby Yoda looking up and it's me looking at Mom putting sugar up her nose. That's good stuff. Yeah, I've got to find it. Someone has to have it.
That is just hysterical.
Somebody's got to have it.
What's funny is that they thought that they could get away with it. And it's like, really?
Well, and in their defense, Walmart, on their website, it's basically a drop shipping thing. So people upload their CSV files. I can get an account and sell on Walmart. And I put my products up there.
Okay.
And so they probably didn't even know it was up there. They probably had no clue. And I think that most people think that Walmart is just throwing it up there on their own, but they're not. It's kind of like going on eBay or something like that, but being able to upload your entire store. I wonder who made that sweater, though, because I really do want one. That's a funny sweater.
Let it snow.
It's so Tracy, they had the sweater. It was a Christmas ugly sweater. And it actually looks nice. It's blue. It's got red trim around the neck and the sleeves. And it says, "Let it snow." And it's Santa. And he's got 3 lines of Coke in front of him. And I think it's great. But that's just me. I can do my spot whenever you're ready.
Okay. And
I will sit. Thank you.
All right, Casey, I am all set for you to do your spot.
Casey Hendrickson here. Wait. Is that how I say it?
Yeah.
Yes, I do this. Jesus. Casey Hendrickson here. Governor Holcomb has a new plan for cell phones. We'll talk about that and more. Wednesday, 3 to 6 on 95.3 MNC.
No.
What?
No. You got to, because it's already going to be in the news what it is.
Okay.
So it's got to be Governor Holcomb wants to ban you from touching your cell phone while you're in the privacy of your own car.
Okay. That's actually not bad. I might do that. Okay. Casey Hendrickson here. Governor Holcomb wants to ban you touching your cell phone in the privacy of your own car. We'll talk about that more. Wednesday, 3 to 6 on 95.3 MNC. There we go. You make it sound sexual. It's not sexual. God, that was the best interview ever.
What?
Michael Jackson.
Oh,
with the milk and cookies.
Yeah.
But why are you sleeping in bed with these kids? You make it sound sexual. It's not sexual. Just having some milk and some cookies. Jesus. It was like the greatest interview ever.
I know, but it's scary how he sounded like him there.
Yeah, well, I've been quoting it a lot. All right, Blue, I'll take a look at it later. All right, so Walmart, let it snow sweater for sale. I just want to know where to get the damn thing. Walmart will no longer allow us to enjoy its wacky and wild cocaine Santa Claus sweater.
Casey Hendrickson here. Governor Holcomb wants to ban you touching your cell phone in the privacy of your own car. We'll talk about that more. Wednesday, 3 to 6.
It was Walmart Canada.
Well, Mishawaka's close to Canada.
Yeah, kind of. Santa Claus is shown getting his bare ass whipped by Mrs. Claus in a corset. That is still on the website, though. You can get that one. You can still get a naked Santa getting whipped by Mrs. Claus.
I gotta go to the bathroom.
Which says Santa has been naughty. You can get that one. That one's on there. Oh, price is unavailable. Yes, please do. If you find that sweater, please post it, because I would like to get it. All right. Yeah, I get it, Blue. Sometimes work gets in the way of fun. So, anything else before we bounce on out of here?
The entire mess tells Americans that the FBI was and may still be politicized. Think about it. Even if the campaign did cooperate with Russia the 2016 election. And the FBI proved it. The case would have been thrown out because the surveillance warrants contained 17 mistakes, according to Michael Rose. So how can this happen? It can't. The FBI is like...
All right, so Daily Show prep. Daily Show. Oh, come on, I missed the capital twice. Show prep. Tuesday, December 10th. Okay, let's get down my tags.
Made 17 mistakes and misled a judge getting a warrant.
Good Lord, nobody wants to say anything. All right, fine, no problem.
The paperwork that went to the judge. Yet, that is what...
All right, publish the Daily Show prep. All right, folks, since y'all seem done, I am going to bounce on out of here. So thank you once again for watching. And did you find it? Is it posted on Discord? Is it still for sale, or is it the banned link, though?
I go O'Reilly and I approved that message by actually writing more commentary. And for a nice holiday gift, please consider my new book. You've been hearing about gold all over the news.
Yeah. Come on. You want a Discord right now? God, I've got a lot of people are chatting at me in Discord. It's on Amazon. $32, John.
$32.
$32.
I'm paying that much for a freaking Walmart sweater.
Well, I'm sure that it was like $20 a couple of days ago, but now it's in demand.
Well, that's crazy.
$32, free shipping.
Not happening.
I may do it.
All right,
I might do it. Thank you for the link, Daniel. Appreciate it.
While intoxicated.
Nice.
ABC 57 Tana Kelly has been live on the scene all afternoon. Joining us now with an update on this investigation.
That's great. I might even do that. All right, I got to bounce, folks. You have a